Wendy's CFL Live on TSN is brought to you by Wendy's. Wendy's Classic Double with Cheese is made fresh right when you order it. It's better here. By Molson Canadian. I am Canadian. And by Moore's Clothing for Men. Well made, well priced, well dressed.
After a couple of rainy days, it was bright and beautiful in Vancouver today, and that could affect attendance inside tonight as Week 3 begins with two teams seeking their first victory of 2002. The Lions lost both on their Eastern road trip. The Argos fell victim to the Bombers and the Alouettes in their first two.
Yeah, they may not admit it publicly, but they are two desperate teams, and they will go to war tonight and do whatever it takes. Gary Etcheverry started in Toronto in '97, became the 40th head coach of the Argos this year after stops in Saskatchewan and BC. You got to think this one means a little bit more to the former BC Lion coordinator than just one win.
Steve Barato led the Lions to a miracle run all the way to a Grey Cup victory in 2000. Last season, BC ran out of miracles and struggled to make the playoffs. Right now, there's a pressure situation for these guys to win a ball game as they open the home season here tonight.
Well, when you're 0-2, obviously lots of pressure for both teams. But if you're in the West Division right now, 3 teams at 2-0, you've got to win. That's what Steve Barato feels right now.
Noel Prefontaine set to kick it off for the Argonauts, who begin their Western road swing tonight. And there's the newcomer, Willie Hurst. Alongside him will be G. Roy Simon, ready for the opening kickoff. Prefontaine has it underway. And Willie Hurst calls for it at the 12. Speed to burn, they tell us. He's out across the 35 to about the 36-yard line, met there by Kevin Eben. Damon Allen is the CFL's career passing leader, but he's well down the list among starting quarterbacks so far in 2002. Just 370 yards passing and not one touchdown tossed in 2 games.
Yeah, completing below 50% of his passes. Now he has lost 3 starting offensive linemen and his best receiver, Alfred Jackson, to injury.
Lions are 1st and 10. And Hurst gets the call. Nice beginning for him. Willie Hurst out of Washington. Stopped by Martavius Houston. Allen has a makeshift receiving core. Larry Thompson is back in the fold. Filling in for Alfred Jackson. Rookie Willie Hurst will run alongside Sean Millington. Changes up front too as Angus Reid starts at center for the injured Jamie Terrace.
Talking to that BC coaching staff about Willie Hurst, and they say he's a lot like Charles Roberts. Not a big guy, but he can make you miss in the open field.
Picked up 9, and there was a mix-up there, but Damon Allen found a way to get the first down. However, there's a flag down far side of the field.
Defensively now for the Toronto Argonauts, Johnny Scott, Joe Mumford combined for just 1 sack after 2 games. Chris Neal in the lineup after being injured in the preseason. And in the secondary, Michael Fletcher making an impact from the safety position. The former BC Lion has thrown some big hits after 2 weeks. Michael O'Shea anchors the defense, of course, and he calls the defensive plays right there in the huddle.
Penalty was against the Lions for illegal procedure, and that's one of the problems BC has really been having, Glenn. They've picked up 9 yards on the previous play, looked at 2nd and 1, and all of a sudden they're back looking at 2nd and 6. A headache for the head coach. Larry Thompson back with the Lions. He'll get a first down here. Might have a big night tonight. Number 21, Larry Thompson.
Larry Thompson's been living here in BC for the last 6 years, and he's been a personal trainer, working out every single day and basically trying to find another tryout. He doesn't feel like his football career is over. Went to the Montreal Alouettes training camp, and according to Jim Popp and the coaching staff there, was very close to making that team. And when Steve Barato called Jim Popp in Montreal, he said, hey, he can still play. And as soon as Barato had the injuries he's had, signed up Larry Thompson in a hurry.
Thompson picked up 12. This is a BC first down. And this is Sean Millington. He's got another one. Millington ran into 2 Argonauts led by Clifford Ivory. Another 12-yard gain.
Well, you know, Willie Hurst and Sean Millington now provide you with good balance in the running attack. If, in fact, Willie Hurst can be the guy that make you miss out in the open field. Millington, of course, the pounding back and the big power back. And so far, this offense for the BC Lions is off to a pretty good start, considering they had 1 penalty, put them in 2nd and long. Willie Hurst will sub in and out of the game for the Lions when they go with the extra receivers.
BC first down at the Argo 46. Millington back-to-back carries. Martavius Houston, number 25, met him there. 18 games with the Argos in 2000.
Yeah, Sean Millington last season, 804 yards, just a couple hundred shy, or just below a couple hundred shy of his 1,000-yard season, but a good average at about 5 yards per carry. Quarterback in 2nd and 5 is a pretty good situation, and he was going to be the feature back heading into camp in BC because they let go of Robert Drummond.
Key for this guy is his average 5.1 yards a carry. That's terrific.
Yeah.
2nd and 5. Allen near side has his target, and another BC first down. Ryan Thelwell wrapped up by Orlando Steinauer.
Well, Damon Allen before the game was talking with a lot of passion and saying how important it is to lay it all on the line, and I think he was talking basically through the media to his teammates and saying, guys, we got to lay it on the line to come up with our first win because 0-3 is not going to cut it, especially in the West.
And basically saying we have to do everything it takes to win, including being more aggressive. Thompson turns the corner. So Larry Thompson has made an impact in his return to the BC Lions.
Well, you know, the leader has been through this war many times. He's been criticized throughout his career in the media many times in Damon Allen, and he's always found a way to fight it off and get his team back in the win column. And they desperately need one tonight, obviously, especially playing for the first time in front of their home crowd.
This drive began way back at the 36. Looking very efficient offensively are the BC Lions thus far. With another 2nd down situation. 2nd and 6. Allen has a receiver far side. It's Hurst. There was a marker down before Willie Hurst caught the ball. Wrapped up by Antonius Bonner.
Offside. Toronto 53. 2nd down.
So that was Joe Montford getting a quick start that time.
Joe Montford is in a new system with Gary Echeverry. It's one that he's not accustomed to, one that he hadn't played in Hamilton, where basically in Hamilton he was free to do whatever he wanted, freelance off the edge. He could make an inside move or take it up to the outside. And now with Gary Echeverry, he's going to be moving around. He's not just coming off the edge.
2nd and 1, an easy conversion for Sean Millington, who moves inside the 15 to about the 14-yard line.
Now, because of that, Joe Montford's sack totals might go down a little bit. He had 19 last season and has led the league, well, for as long as I can remember.
How long has he been around? He's really led the league since then. He's got 96 career sacks.
And he will work side by side with Johnny Scott. And the good thing about this is that they need to play together a few games. And now they're in game 3, and their production will increase.
Damon Allen has the Lions in scoring position with a first down at the 14. The ball squirts loose, and the Argos come up with it. It's been that kind of a year for the BC Lions. Kendrick Golston comes up with the loose ball. They had a beautiful drive going. It ends in a fumble.
Same story for the BC Lions so far this year.
The good news is it was a crisp drive, and the Lions offense looks much sharper tonight. A 60-yard drive of the Lions ends at the 11-yard line and puts the ball in the hands of quarterback Michael Bishop, who got the call early last week in Toronto. Tonight he gets the starts with Stanley Jackson on injury reserve. Keep it on the ground. Sam Zanders is the ball carrier there. Bishop has great running ability. He has averaged almost 8 yards per carry. Bishop has only one real new target tonight in Nigel Williams. The key is to get the ball to Daryl Mitchell. In the backfield, Sean Daniels and Sam Zanders, and 3 import starters along that offensive line: Glenn Morgan, Ram, and Roque.
But that is the key right there. Daryl Mitchell is the key for an inexperienced Michael Bishop. The BC Lions are going to send a lot of different looks. at the youngster Michael Bishop tonight, and that's the front seven that will do it. Cameron Legault gets a chance to start for the first time this year because of a hamstring problem. Barron Simpson anchors the middle, and in the secondary, Eric Carter, the all-star corner, is out. The newcomer and rookie Tony Walker out of Utah State gets a chance to play tonight. Cameron Legault has played in the first 2 games of the regular season, but played sparingly because of a hamstring problem. He says it's 100% he's ready to go.
Close enough to measure, and it is a first down for the Argos.
We were actually joking with Cameron Legault before the game. He said, you know, I didn't even know I had a hamstring. I thought that was just reserved for the fast guys.
He found it.
He found it,
hasn't
yeah.
been able to play a full game until tonight. First down, Argos. Bishop to the far side, and on the money for Nigel Williams. Williams gets out across the 30 and should have a first down, or he's very close to it. We'll see where they spot the ball. Into the lineup for the first time, Nigel Williams tonight.
Nigel Williams is getting an opportunity. He came out of training camp, and he thought personally he had maybe his best training camp as a pro, and he's been in the league for 8 years, had over 3,000 yards receiving and 21 touchdowns. And to say that this was his best camp is saying a lot. Now, he came out of there and hurt his tricep muscle.
Picked up 11 yards on the previous play, and there's not much running room that time.
Now, the tricep muscle is the one on the back of the arm. And he said he came out of there and he's, you know, he talked about how that would affect him as a receiver. And for Nigel Williams, it's the strength he has with his hands on the ball and also absorbing the hit from the back. And you can see as he wears that rubber sleeve over the one that was injured.
John Daniels picked up 1. This is 2nd and 9. Flags are down, and Bishop takes off, throwing on the run, and Mike Morreale made the catch. We'll see what the infraction was. Starting lineups tonight brought to you by Midas. See Midas for all your car care needs. He is an exceptional athlete.
Well, and it's his chance to play, and it's his chance to get some experience and possibly show the coaching staff in Toronto that he can play at this level. Now, in case that doesn't happen, Gary Echeverry made a quick move on Friday and brought in an old pro in Reggie Slack. Of course, Reggie Slack took the Saskatchewan Roughriders in '97 all the way to the Grey Cup game.
Offside. Toronto 18. Penalties declined. 3rd down.
So Morreale was offside.
And we likely will not see Reggie Slack tonight in this game. However, it would be an emergency situation. They want to see if Bishop can handle the reins, and it's probably the best thing. Reggie Slack has only had a couple of practices with the Argos. Now, he says that it's very similar offensively here as it was in Saskatchewan. However, the terminology has changed, so he's got to try and figure that out and see if he can just help the young quarterback from the sideline.
Prefontaine, and Hurst bobbles it. It's a loose ball recovered by the Argonauts inside the 5-yard line. So Hurst misplayed it, and the BC Lions have back-to-back fumbles, setting up the Argonauts at the 5. It was really Geroy Simon's catch, wasn't it? He was the deep guy there.
Well,
and
yeah.
Hurst went up and tried to take it over his shoulder.
Geroy Simon is in charge of calling whether or not it'll be his ball or Willie Hurst's ball, and I believe he called it to Hurst and then realized that Hurst was caught up short, so then they scrambled for it after that.
Hang on, maybe the Lions get it back. It looked like the Argos were all around the ball, but somehow, miraculously, BC got it back. Misplayed there, and watch who recovers here. Lions ball. It could have been worse. Welcome back. One more look at the last play.
Yeah, here's Geroy Simon right there. Now, he's the veteran, so he's in charge of the you or me call. That's who's going to get the ball. And then he realized Willie Hurst was caught shallow, and I think it's Hurst that ends up recovering it. At the end of that scrum, it was in the legs of Michael Fletcher for the Argos, but he couldn't come up with it.
Lions do get it back, and here's Sean Millington looking for room outside. Can't really get around the corner with much authority, and it's Fletcher over there to force him out.
Well, Sean Millington is going to have his problems running from sideline to sideline with his Argo defensive front seven. The reason being is their linebackers outside of Michael O'Shea, Martavius Houston, and Chris Neal have tremendous speed. That's their forte to get to the outside. And then O'Shea, he's going to play tackle to tackle. And the outside running is going to be awful difficult for the BC Lions tonight.
Gain is 3 yards, 2nd and 7 Lions. Opening drive of 60 yards ended with a fumble. Here's Damon Allen from the end zone, has a man open.
Oh, did he ever?
And Brett Anderson can't get there quickly enough.
He had 2 men open, and it was a pattern designed to have Jason Claremont go across the middle to open up Brett Anderson in behind him. And both Claremont and Anderson were open, and Damon Allen just overthrew the football. And really, this is how it's been for the Lions after 2 weeks. Here's Brett Anderson right here. He gets the seam pattern, and watch how Claremont is supposed to go in here and influence the coverage. Now,
third down punts, and the no yards flags fly on a solid hit. 42-yard punt. There was no return, and 0 still on the scoreboard. A couple of miscues by the BC Lions, and Damon Allen seems a little bit puzzled.
Oh, so close. One more time. Look at the patterns. Here we go. Claremont across the middle, and Brett Anderson. Here's Brett Anderson at the end of it. Look how wide open he is. Adrian Smith trying to catch up.
On the exchange, the Argonauts have great field position. The home run toss is there. Almost a one-hander. Daryl Mitchell. And there's a flag down at the 15-yard line. Was the coverage too close?
Well, I'm not sure where the penalty was. Daryl Mitchell straight down the seam. Not a bad thought to go at Daryl Mitchell and try and get him deep early in the game just to get the defensive backs.
Forward pass interference. BC, first down.
Well, they didn't leave a number. It certainly didn't happen near the end of the play. I mean, here comes Tyrone Bell trying to catch up on Daryl Mitchell. Daryl Mitchell, the one hand on the ball, and I don't think he's close enough.
Mitchell was looking for a call, as you see there.
Well, possibly happened on the line of scrimmage. Certainly didn't at the end of the play.
Net gain 36 yards and a first down near the 10-yard line with not much running room for Sam Zanders.
Sam Zanders, the feature back in this Argo backfield after 2 weeks. He's close to 100 yards, has not found the end zone yet, but
that average isn't impressive as yet, is it? 3.6.
He needs to get that average up and give his young quarterback more of an opportunity to get in second and long, or second and short, I should say, or second and medium.
Gain of 1. This is 2nd and 9. Argos inside the BC 10. So 2nd and goal there. And here's Bishop tossing for the touchdown, and he's got it. Bishop looked to run, and Daryl Mitchell made the catch just inside the line. I thought that Bishop was pretty close to that line of scrimmage, but obviously he was okay.
Well, he's very close, John, but this puts a defensive back and linebackers in a bind, because when Bishop takes off and runs right up the middle, now you see Barron Simpson has to step up. Tyrone Bell's not sure if he's going to run or he's going to throw, and that freezes the defense, and Michael Bishop shows his athletic ability with the first touchdown.
8-yard line was the line of scrimmage, and obviously he got it away in time. So the Argonauts take advantage of a turnover a couple of plays later with good field position. Pass interference call sets them up in scoring position. Mitchell has the touchdown. It's 7-0 Toronto. This is a real tough start for the BC Lions in their home opener. They had that terrific march on the opening drive of 60 yards, came up empty after a fumble. Couple of errors, interference call, and all of a sudden it's the Argos on the board first, 7-0.
Boy, was Michael Bishop ever close to the line of scrimmage when he let go of that ball to Daryl Mitchell. The line of scrimmage is the 8-yard line. Michael Bishop's going to step up in the pocket and let go of it right there. And his left foot comes down about 3 inches behind the 8-yard line.
They got it right, but it was awfully close. After the touchdown, the kickoff this time goes to Geroy Simon. Nice moves here, and he's touchdown across the 45 to the 47. Terrell Mitchell with the touchdown, his third of the season. And looking at the numbers, it's rather strange. Only 4 catches for 33 yards and 2 touchdowns coming in, but a nice scoring drive there.
3 plays, the pass interference, the, I'll say, questionable pass interference call. The key play of the drive, obviously, because it put them right down on their doorstep. But give credit where credit's due to the officials. They got the call right on Michael Bishop throwing the ball.
Certainly did.
But that interference was awfully close.
The Lions really need to respond here. Good field position. Damon Allen, a little play action. Near side, he's got a strike. Ryan Thelwell made the catch, put a marker down at the 40. Well, 16 yards of it stands.
Lions fans likely wondering why the inconsistency from a veteran quarterback in Damon Allen.
Offside. BC number 21. First down repeated.
That's Larry Thompson in his first game.
And this is why. This is one of the reasons for inconsistency. You know, Larry Thompson's playing in his first game as a BC Lion. He's offside and takes away what was about a 13-14 yard gain. You know, a fumble here and a fumble there. Steve Barado's gone through 3 starting offensive linemen that have gone down. He's had to make changes in that front group for Damon Allen.
That's a huge part of the story, the penalty yardage so far. Allen near side has Thelwell again. This time he'll be well short of the first down.
And when you make a lot of changes like that, that's where the inconsistency comes in, because you'll make one good play and then you'll take a step backwards with a mistake, and that's what you have to try and battle through. And Damon Allen, when he loses Alfred Jackson, that's like Danny McManus losing Darren Flutie or Daryl Mitchell going out. I mean, that's your key receiver.
Or Kahari Jones losing Milt Stegall.
Absolutely.
Gain was 8. This is 2nd and 7 now. This is Larry Thompson, may throw, puts it up, man open, make the catch, score the touchdown. Larry Thompson. G-Roy Simon put it up. Thompson ran underneath.
Before the game, Damon Allen said they have to pull out all the stops.
Trick plays included.
And they got the Argos sleeping. The ball is thrown behind the line of scrimmage and backwards to G-Roy Simon. That means he's allowed to throw it again. And you can see at the top of your screen, Larry Thompson in behind the coverage and wins the foot race with Michael Fletcher to the end zone.
71 yards the combination, and we're all even at BC Place. Simon has a touchdown toss to his credit.
Well, you know, it's interesting. Larry Thompson was a former teammate of mine years ago in Saskatchewan, and so I know him from there. And I said to G-Roy Simon, the veteran in BC, prior to the game, I said, G-Roy, you got to take care of my old teammate Larry Thompson. You know, he's a new teammate of yours. And he said, gave me kind of a wink, and he said, yeah, I think I'll take care of him tonight in this game. And I had no idea that's what he meant. A touchdown pass.
I didn't realize G-Roy remembered your playing days in Saskatchewan.
Well, no, I have to remind these guys. It's back in the leather helmet days. But the key to the play is to make sure Damon Allen throws it back behind him so that G-Roy Simon is allowed to throw it again. And when he does, you see Adrian Smith came out of his coverage to come up and tackle Simon and allow Larry Thompson in behind him.
Now, Allen talking about trick plays. I mean, that one has been in the book for a long time. It's not exactly a trick play, but it's a play that is not seen all that frequently, and it's something you pull out of the stack and throw at somebody once in a while.
And how important now is Larry Thompson all of a sudden? He's a nice find for a team that's been decimated with injuries.
Jeff Johnson, here's a little razzle-dazzle from the Argos on the reverse to Marcellus Turner.
And Larry Thompson, with a great camp in Montreal, very nearly made that team. And has been training and waiting for his opportunity, and he's certainly taking advantage of it.
Holding on the return will cost the Argos some yardage.
You've got to pull out all the stops when you're 0-2. A double pass from the Lions, and then the Argos come back with a reverse. They get the penalty, but we can see. Who knows what we're going to see the rest of the way.
Argonauts beginning at the 19 in a tie ball game. 7-7. Sam Sanders wrapped up nicely by the left side of that Lion line. Legault in the middle of things down there.
This BC defense really, other than a loss of Eric Carter in the secondary, has played pretty well for the first 2 games of the season. Of course, their leader Baron Simpson signing in the offseason.
Unnecessary roughness. BC 26. First down.
So the penalty goes against the Lions. It's Carl Kidd for unnecessary roughness.
And that is obviously Baron Simpson's running partner. Carl Kidd lines up right beside him in the linebacking core. A little over aggressive on that play, so 2 penalties. The BC Lions. That is the defensive coordinator, Par Arslanian. Of course, his brother Dave Arslanian is up in the booth as the offensive coordinator, and very little experience in the CFL, but they're learning quickly.
Lions knew they'd have to be better against the run, and they stopped Sanders on back-to-back plays for little or no gain. Cameron Legault getting his first full start here tonight, number 95, and in on a couple of tackles. He's very good against the run, according to his head coach, and actually the best technical player along that defensive line. Technical skills, number 1. Second in a bunch. Here's Bishop looking to throw. Nice pass. Has a man. Jump ball. Catch made and dropped. Chad Plummer was there, and covering was the safety Mike Crum. It hung up a little long, and Crum had time to get over and react.
Well, Mike Crum, it looked to me that he was out jumped to the football by Chad Plummer. Bishop gets outside the pocket, and that's what he's going to have to do throughout this game, just to get some more time and use his athletic ability. Nice throw going the opposite way. You see how Chad Plummer got up higher than Mike Crum, but Crum did the right thing as a defensive back. He pulled one arm down and got that ball out of there.
G-Roy Salmon is back, and this is Willie Hurst. Had a little trouble earlier, but hangs on to that one and is stopped just near the 30-yard line after an 8-yard return. On the sidelines tonight, Farhan Lalji.
Thanks, John. You know, much has been made about the BC Lions injuries so far this season because of their early season hectic schedule. The team has lost 9 players, including 7 of those that are on the offensive side of the ball. 5 are starters, including 3 offensive linemen. Steve Barrato is happy with the way the replacements have been playing, but he says they really need to get through the league one time so they can get used to playing players like Johnny Scott and Joe Montford. Good news for BC, though. 4 of the injured players are expected back next week, including Alfred Jackson and Jamie Terrace.
First and 10, Lions have the ball back for the first time since the 71-yard touchdown run by Larry Thompson. That's Willie Hurst.
And one thing that they like about Willie Hurst is not only his quickness at the point of attack, much like a Charles Roberts, but he has great hands. So when you have a little guy like that who can make you miss an open field, you throw him that little hitch pass to the outside, that's where he'll get the open field. We'll look for that throughout this game.
Again, positive yardage on first down. Gain is 6. Actually, 2nd and 4 coming. Millington out of the backfield. It'll be a first down, BC at the 40. Adrian Smith made the tackle. So Sean Millington has played well tonight.
It's a nice, well-executed play. Larry Thompson, who has the touchdown for the Lions, gets involved as a blocker and doesn't have to really make big contact. He just has to get in the way of the pursuit to allow Sean Millington to get to the outside. And it's one thing that he will bring. He's a veteran. He's played in the league. Albeit not for the last 3 years, but he has played.
Well, and we talked about the great camp he had in Montreal and how close he came to making the Alouettes. The pitch to Hurst. He'll turn the corner behind a good block. And this is a much better game being played by the Lions offensively. Antonius Bonner made the stop. The gain is 15 yards on the final play of the opening quarter. Lots to talk about in this one so far. We'll look forward to the rest of it.
Well, the BC Lions had a comedy of errors going there for a while, but razzle-dazzle play gets them back to even 7-7. Schulte will address what the Lions are doing in just a moment. But how about Michael Bishop, the rookie quarterback, Matt?
Oh, man, he's having a fantastic first quarter on the road. He's producing under pressure. I asked Michael today, what can I expect from your play tonight? He says, watch me get out inside, out in space. And that's best. You see Roque invites the defensive end inside, and now you're going to get Michael Bishop on the outside. A great job by Bishop in space, throws a strike to Morreale. Why? Because he's in rhythm. You're not thinking at this point. Here again, you see him. Great vision downfield. Again, he's going to use his legs to buy himself some time. Shows some leadership here by keeping his eyes downfield. Hits Daryl Mitchell for the touchdown. That's a solid first quarter of play by Michael Bishop, Jock. If he can continue this, his team's going to have a chance here on the road.
Indeed, he will. And, you know, there's one other stat. I want to talk about the pass interference play. There's one stat they don't keep in football, which maybe they should, and that's yards gained through interference plays. And Mitchell and Bishop hook up for a huge chunk of yards right here. Now, there were probably folks at home who were thinking, interference? What interference? I don't see any interference here. Let me tell you something. When you're running down a deep ball as a receiver, one of the toughest things to do is to keep your legs and your arms in rhythm. Mitchell only sticks out his left arm. Why? Because someone gave his right arm a tug. How do I know that? Because I've been there, personal experience. It's one of the toughest things to do, and BC had no choice but to grab the guy. That got him down to the 5-yard line.
Well, Jock, let me talk about the BC Lions because I see them progressing on offense. They had some good series of plays. The reason, number one, they're controlling tempo through the snap count. They're going on first down, whether it's that pitch to the outside or that quick hitter up the middle, or they're going on a late snap count. So really, Toronto has to show their cards. Everybody has the ability to diagnose the defense, so you get a body on the body. Keep the snap count, keep the rhythm, Dave.
You got your Michael Bishop with his second career touchdown pass, Geroy Simon with his first, and we're all tied up as we take you back to BC Place for the second quarter.
On the scoreboard, it's all even, but other numbers tell a bit of a different story.
Well, the BC Lions have moved the ball. You look back to that first drive. The ball pretty successfully. They just didn't come away with any points.
Millington on 1st and 10 at midfield to begin the second quarter.
Number 10, and you can tell that when you look at the time of possession at 9 minutes and 11 seconds for the Lions, almost double that of the Argos. The Argos got, for benefit of the interference call on Daryl Mitchell, got him down to the goal line.
Millington has another 5. He's right on his average. 2nd and 5 Lions. Slight delay to Millington this time, and it's well read by that Argonaut defense. He was lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, the Argos are going to figure it out sooner or later. Pretty good game plan so far from the Lions as they've basically had the edge in the statistical category. But you know guys like Johnny Scott, Joe Mumford, some of those veterans up front, Roger Dunbruck in his 5th season, and of course Michael O'Shea in his 10th. Sooner or later they figure it out, and that's where the adjustments for both teams come in. After about a quarter, you have to start adjusting on the fly.
Marcellus Turner won't have a play on this one except in the end zone, bouncing down there, and the Lions are all over that. Flags fly in the Argo end zone. 7-7, it's Wendy's CFL Live from Vancouver. We'll continue with Wendy's CFL Live on Thursday. Rough Riders against the Alouettes in Montreal, 7 o'clock Eastern time for that one. Now, they're still discussing the final play before we took a break. With the ball in the Argonaut end zone and flags flying there. No yards would be the indication of the penalty. They haven't made an official announcement as yet.
I believe Kelly Lockbaum was the guy who touched the football for the Lions, thinking that it was touched in there by Marcellus Turner. Argos get the ball on the 25-yard line. The 5-yard penalty tacked on.
Now Turner went down on one knee to concede a single point, but no score has been added to the board. Sean Daniels, first carry of the ball game.
change-up guy. They call him, guys like this and running plays like that, they call them the tendency breakers. Over his career, which has been a 14-year career, not a whole lot of yards, but Sean Daniels is a tremendous blocker, and the fullback has to be the blocker, almost like your 6th offensive lineman.
2nd and 3. Sean Daniels again, back-to-back.
And the tendency breaker, what that means is you don't expect him to get the football all that often. In fact, coming into this game, he had just 5 carries. He has 2 now. So he's not going to get a whole bunch of carries, but it's just to keep the defense honest. You just can't forget about him completely.
It'll be 3rd down, a yard to go. Actually, a long yard. A yard and a bit. So the Argos will kick it away. G-Roy Simon drops back for Noel Prefontaine's kick.
Well, it is a long yard, and when you're in your own end of the field, it's a longer yard.
Not the longest yard. Noel Prefontaine sails this one. Simon at the 30. A little reverse. And he'll get out near the 40-yard line. Nifty little move for a 9-yard return. Decent field position for Damon Allen when we return. Still 7-7 at the stadium at BC Place. Steve Barato and the Lions have bounced back on a 71-yard play. G-Roy Simon completing the pass to Larry Thompson. And here's Farhan.
Thanks, guys. It's been a long time since this man has been out of the Lions offensive lineup. Jamie Terrace, 5 years ago, you hurt their left knee. Now it's the right knee. How's it progressing?
It's coming along really well. You know, I've got my range of mobility back, and it's just a matter of getting over some of the pain and the looseness now.
Now they're talking about fitting you for a brace tomorrow and possibly if things go well, getting into the lineup next week.
Yeah, I'd like to come back for Hamilton, but it's not the kind of thing I want to rush, so we'll see how it feels and what the doctors say.
How about your replacement, Angus Reid? Had a tough one with the snap over Damon's head last week. How's he been playing?
Oh, he's been playing really well. You know, I've been in that situation too with the snaps under pressure, and I think he's going to be a great center in this league, and it's nice to see him get some playing time under fire.
Thanks, Jimmy. Get healthy.
Thank you.
Jamie Terrace, just one of 3 BC starters along the offensive line. Sidelined already this season. Sounds like he'll be back soon. 2nd and 4 Lions. Nice fake by Damon Allen. Far side toss. And a great catch by Brett Anderson. I like the way this guy plays the game when he gets the opportunity.
And he doesn't often, and that's, I guess, been the problem for Brett Anderson throughout his career. He's a tremendous all-around athlete, can do a lot of things for him. First of all, the good fake buys Damon Allen some time. Watch that catch as he lays out to the sideline, keeps in bounds, and picks up the 1st down for the Lions. 6 years in the league, but really hasn't had a starting job throughout his career. It's one of the chances he gets to start and play a bunch tonight.
Picked up 13 yards. 1st down BC. Millington out of the backfield and couldn't hang on.
With Alfred Jackson out, Brett Anderson comes into the game, and he'll play inside at the inside receiver position. Last year, just 18 catches, 189 yards. He did have 1 touchdown, but being a 4th-round pick back in 1997, he's put together a nice career as a backup receiver, and tonight getting a chance to do his thing.
Barato and the Lions looking at 2nd and 10. Larry Thompson to the near side. Ball just across midfield into Argo territory. Allen with time, looking deep, has Simon, and he's 4 yards too far.
That's 2 long throws by Damon Allen that have been just off the mark to receivers that have been wide open. Damon Allen throws both these long balls, the one early in the 1st quarter and that one there, on more of a line than putting a ton of air underneath it. And you can see G-Roy Simon 3 or 4 yards in behind Orlando Steinauer.
3rd down punt taken by Turner on the run, but not for long. He's dropped at the 25. You know, 6 on the return.
John, it's the throwing style from Damon Allen, and early in this game he's been throwing that ball hard and long on a line. Puts a little more air on that, he might have a couple touchdowns.
Penalty down on the return. We'll check out the infraction.
Face mask. Toronto number 12. First down.
So that's on Adrian Smith.
See what I'll tell you what. Try and show you here what I'm talking about. Damon Allen has time in the pocket, steps up in there, and that ball is on a line. It's a long throw that gets there in a hurry. Remember when G. Simon actually threw the ball to Larry Thompson for a touchdown? That one almost looked like a punt. It was so high. It went up and then
Thompson
came down
actually
to him.
ran underneath it.
And he ran underneath it. But that's the key. It allows the receiver that is wide open like that to run underneath it. I'm sure they will discuss that and say, look, it's working, it's there, we'll go back to it, and I'll just put a little more air on the ball and you can run right under it.
After the penalty on the return, the Argos begin at the 18.
Argos saying that they've brought the playbook way down for Michael Bishop this week of preparation. They took a whole bunch out of the playbook and tried to simplify things so that Bishop didn't confuse himself.
And they've adapted it more to his style, and that includes the run. Looking over the middle, he's intercepted. It's Kidd up and headed to the end zone. He's there. Carl Kidd.
Well, it was a race to the ball between Carl Kidd and the newcomer Tony Walker. The corner. And Michael Bishop points right to himself along the sideline with his teammates saying, guys, don't worry about that one. I'll take the blame for that one. Threw it right into coverage. Carl Kidd gets out and around and in the end zone.
Only the second interception of the season for the BC Lions. And Carl Kidd has his souvenir. Back-to-back touchdowns for the hometown Lions.
Anytime your defense can score, it's a plus. Gives you a ton of momentum.
Carl Kidd found his way to the end zone. It's 14-7.
Hi, I'm leading seaman Stuart Blackburn, and I'm here in the forward switchboard of HMCS Ottawa, and I want to say hi to my family back home in Victoria and Vancouver, and go Lions, go!
Lions gave up the early lead, but they've doubled the count on the Argonauts now.
Little team defense from the BC Lions. Brett Johnson right here is going to go out of the screen, but watch how he gets contained on Michael Bishop. Michael Bishop rolls a little to the right. Now he comes around there. There's Johnson right in his face right there. That stops Bishop, makes him throw the ball when he's not comfortable throwing it, and Carl Kidd comes up with it.
19-yard touchdown, and here's the Argo return after the Lions score. Marcellus Turner has 17.
If Brett Johnson doesn't do his job on this play, and he won't be in the stat book right there, if he doesn't do his job, Michael Bishop is outside and he's running for about 15, 20 yards. He forces Bishop to throw it when he was uncomfortable throwing it. And that is the result. Carl Kidd gets in the end zone.
Well, a good play by Carl Kidd all along. He makes the catch, gets up off the turf, and then beats a couple of tacklers to get into the end zone from 19 yards out.
Every man on the football field, which is why it's one of the greatest games in the world, has a job to do. If one guy doesn't do his job, the entire defense will fall apart. And if they all do their job perfectly, it's oftentimes good results.
Gary Echeverry was with the Argos from 1997 to 99. Defensive coordinator in 99, then moved on to Saskatchewan for 2000. He was here last year. Toronto and Edmonton on Saturday night, Wendy's CFL Live.
Short week for the Argos, 4 days to prepare for the Edmonton Eskimos after this game. Now the Lions have gone through that, and obviously by their record you can tell it was difficult for them coming out of training camp and playing 2 quick games, but that's the reality of the league. Everyone's going to go through it, and I think that most of the coaches, although they'll complain a little bit, they've got their head around the fact that that's the way it is. And this week Toronto's up.
It's Toronto's week, a Western tour ending at Commonwealth in Edmonton Saturday night. Michael Bishop threw an interception. Previous time he had his hands on the ball. This time it's whistled down before he can make a play.
Cameron Legault got off the
Illegal procedure. Toronto number 68.
He got
Still
off the
first
ball
down.
quickly, but the reason was Juan Roque had moved his hand. Once the hand goes down on the turf, you can't pick it up, and big Juan Roque getting his first chance to play.
He's a load
this season.
He?
Yeah,
6'8", 335.
We talked about Cameron Legault and talking about his matchup with Juan Roque, and he said he is so big on 2nd and 2-ish, it gets awful difficult.
Particularly against the run. Sean Daniels for the Argos. Coming into the game, Michael Bishop had played about 5 quarters in the CFL, including almost all of last week's loss.
Yeah, and I think, one interception by Michael Bishop does not have Gary Echeverry looking to Reggie Slack this early in the ballgame. As you can see, Slack still has the headset on, and he's charting the plays and seeing if he can help Michael Bishop just with his veteran savvy on the sideline.
2nd and 12 for Bishop. Here's the charge. He won't get away. Huge pressure. Ron Okami. Gets the sack.
Again, though, John, it's Brett Johnson who's made back-to-back plays here in 2 separate series. Brett Johnson's got to do his job and slow Bishop down on the outside to allow Ron Okami to come. See, there's Okami there. He's coming free. So now the chase is on. But you see Brett Johnson slow him down just enough so his teammate can get there. Brett Johnson is in charge of containing him. If Brett Johnson is not there, Michael Bishop is outside and probably wins that race.
Noel Prefontaine back on his 2-yard line. A loss of 13 there. So the Lions on the return by G. Simon should have outstanding field position already at midfield. But that's about it. Solid tackling by the Argos up front, led by Chris Neal. Only 3 on the return. Acting CFL Commissioner David Braley wearing his BC Lions hat tonight as the owner of the team.
Yeah, when he arrived here, so now you got to be neutral because you're the acting commissioner, and he sort of laughed and he said, I'll be neutral all the way up to about 10 minutes before kickoff, and then I'm back on the Lions side.
Put my Lions hat on and I'll take it off after the game. Lions having a much better evening. They have the lead by a touchdown. David Allen has been sharper and takes out for the first time. Allen sliding safely for a first down near the 45, pinned by Kendrick Golston.
Well, Damon Allen just barely got away from Johnny Scott, number 72. Big Johnny Scott's right here. And when he gets his momentum going, you don't want to get caught by Johnny Scott. But look how smooth Damon Allen is still in this age, in this point in his career. He doesn't look like he's moving till you get right up beside him, and then all of a sudden in 1 or 2 steps he's gone by you.
Allen will be 39 on July the 29th. Nice move. It didn't amount to much yardage for Willie Hurst. Had the quick feet going, but the Argos read it well. Allen has taken some hits so far this season, Glenn.
Well, he has, and it's been because of the changes to the offensive line, and you lose your center, Jamie Terrace. It makes it tougher to throw the ball and tougher to run it, quite frankly, because the lanes just aren't there. And Damon Allen knows a thing or two about running the ball. 10,000 yards in his career.
The average 7.0. That's awfully impressive through all his seasons. Second down. Allen took the hit there and fired for Thelwell as Roger Dunbrack, number 70, came free.
See, that's the hit we're talking about that he's taken a lot of as far as Damon Allen goes. It's right in his face, so he really has nowhere to go with the football, because by the time he gets back around to the back side of the play, watch, he looks out here to this side right at you, and then by the time he turns his head, Roger Dunbrack is right there saying hello. Dunbrack, see how they're all on the line, and Dunbrack comes off the top of the line right here.
Inside the 5 and nowhere to move. Marcellus Turner has a 2-yard return after a 40-yard punt. What's interesting on that previous play by Dunbrack, seemed that the Lions were really well focused on number 53. And Dunbrack comes from the other side.
Well, the play is designed, John, to go to the right side because the linemen, all the offensive linemen here slide this way, and then they're hoping they're going to leave one free off the edge, which is Dunbrack, hoping the play is going to happen before Dunbrack can get there. But see, Damon Allen looks to his right, all the linemen slide there, and then he goes, oh, no one's open, I got to go. And he can't. He can't throw it through Roger Dunbrack. And we're going to need some equipment adjustments after that hit.
Beginning at their 5-yard line. Fletcher from the end zone. Just about a beautiful one-hander by Chad Plummer.
Well, Mike Crum is showing some great range from the safety position. What I mean by that is he's covering a lot of territory with the ball in the air. Normally when you have a pattern that is called a corner pattern that Chad Plummer's running, and that's basically breaking in a 45-degree angle to the sideline, it's an awful long way to go for Mike Crum, and he got there. Or I believe Chad Plummer makes that catch without Crum in his face.
Got one hand on it, couldn't bring it home. 2nd and 10. Toronto from the Argo 5. Sam Zanders for a couple. It'll be a hunting situation for Prefontaine.
Well, it's decision time in some ways for Gary Echeverria to give up a safety when you're down by 7. Your punter's going to be standing 10 to 12 yards back in the end zone, and your offense is struggling because in their possessions for the Argos so far, 4 punts, and an interception. The TD helped out in a big way by the interference call. And there's a very good chance that the BC Lions in this situation are going to send the block.
Got one man through, not enough to put real pressure on him. Here's Willie Hurst for the Lions. Flag is down, and most of that run will not be counted. 20 yards on the return, and Hurst won't get credit for most of it. A week from Friday, a franchise story of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. A behind-the-scenes look at the Roughriders season of 1999 from the locker room to the press box. Viewers will get a fly-on-the-wall look at a pro football season around Taylor Field.
That should be very interesting because I remember in '99 there was always cameras up in the box and following the...
You might be in it.
Yeah.
Any Given Sunday meets Hoop Dreams. A 1-hour show preceding next Friday's Wendy's Friday Night Football from Taylor Field. Play action fake by Allen. Buys some time. One hand only on the ball. Ryan Thelwell.
Damon Allen, pretty good completion percentage. Now he's over the 50% mark coming into this game.
Looking up those totals a little bit as we close in on halftime.
Well,
here's 5 minutes to go.
He's been all of about 1.5 yards short on 2 long passes, which would tell a very different story in those numbers.
Larry Thompson to the near side on 2nd and 10 BC. Here's the charge. O'Shea was there, and Allen was lucky to get it away. Larry Thompson was the target. Penalty marker down. Seen a few of those flags flying here tonight.
Yeah, there's been a couple on both sides for the Argos. And
illegal procedure. BC, no end on the line of scrimmage. Penalties declined. 3rd down.
So that was a formation problem.
Yeah, it looked like Corey Mantica may have had the right foot too far back, and the officials want to make sure that the offensive lineman's shoulders are right on the line of scrimmage. But you can see as the penalties continue to mount.
Yeah, closing in on 100 yards against the Lions. Martino, short kick, taken by Turner. Another penalty flag is down, and Turner is thrown to the turf by Lyle Green. 7 on the return. Just 33 on Martino's punts. Daryl Mitchell has the Argonauts
Illegal block.
touchdown tonight.
Toronto 35. First down.
Kevin Eben is flagged there.
When you have numbers like that, you're coming off a season where you're over 1,300 yards. That's why when we talk about getting Daryl Mitchell involved in the offense, especially for a young quarterback, is important, because whether it's zone or man, he can find the spot.
He's a three-time All-Canadian, 97, 98, and 2000. Remember, 98, 2,000 yards, 10 touchdowns. 97, 17 touchdowns for Daryl Mitchell. First and 10 Argos. Trailing by a touchdown. Bishop buying some time. As his target, it's Turner making the catch, and there's a penalty marker at the 43. Marcellus Turner.
Well, from our broadcast location, it looked like that was either intended for Daryl Mitchell and slightly overthrown, or
Illegal contact on a receiver. BC 26. Penalties declined. First down.
That's Carl Kidd, who has the Lions' second touchdown tonight.
And coming all the way across the field from the right side was Turner and Mitchell. And you can see this one looked like Daryl Mitchell had a chance to go after it, and he realized that his teammate was in behind him for a few more yards and let it go.
Argos end up with a 22-yard gain and a first down at the 43. Nice fake by Bishop, and he'll take it all the way. Had run on his mind, and he'll run for the first down.
Now, John, you know, when Brett Johnson made a couple of big plays on containment, how it worked to the defense's favor. And this is what happens if he gets caught looking at the running back and sliding inside. As soon as he does that, you get a very athletic quarterback to the outside, and watch how he's going to get caught and frozen on the play action right here as he steps up to the line of scrimmage. He gets caught here, slides down. You see now Michael Bishop is outside and running and comes up with first down.
Good drive going for the Argonauts, heading into the final 3 minutes. Bishop playing with some confidence, looking for Mitchell. He's got him inside the 20. What a beautiful pass. Tight coverage on Mitchell. Drew two BC Lions over there, but Bishop threaded the needle.
What a pattern by Daryl Mitchell. Daryl
Illegal
Mitchell.
contact on a receiver. BC 26. Penalties declined. First down.
That's back-to-back against Kidd.
Daryl Mitchell in behind Tyrone Bell, and this time Mike Crum can't get there in time, just in time to make the tackle, and that's a long way to get there for the free safety. A nice move in the pattern from Mookie.
A 39-yard gain for Daryl Mitchell, and the Argos are threatening to score again. First and 10, Toronto inside the 20 when we return. A 39-yard gain by Daryl Mitchell. Nice toss from Michael Bishop, and the Argonauts are set up inside the 20 at the 18. Here's the touchdown toss, and Williams didn't even look toward the ball as far as I could see, Glenn.
And Tyrone Bell on the other side got away with a little bit of a pull on Daryl Mitchell's jersey.
Here's how it's done. The perfect pattern, Daryl Mitchell.
Well, watch Mitchell's head. He's looking in here, looking into the left, and then when he makes that head fake, number 87, see that head fake come around and sell it? That's how you sell the pattern. He does it on Tyrone Bell. Tyrone Bell's buying, and Mitchell comes over the catch to get him in striking range.
Second and 10 at the 18. Another toss to the end zone, and more confusion there. No one was home. Marcellus Turner was the intended target.
Well, when Marcellus Turner turned around, that ball was already gone and in behind him. See, and Michael Bishop will go immediately to talk to him. It's going to happen to the right of your screen. Bishop's going to try and throw it deep. More of a seam play. Try and get a little more depth, and you see how Turner had broken it off, almost like a deep out pattern. Michael Bishop went right away to go talk to his receiver and just say, no, that's not the way I drew it up in the huddle. I said corner, not out.
Bishop took the blame for the interception that went for a touchdown against the Argos. Here's Prefontaine, and that's his second field goal of 2002. 1 for 3 coming into this one tonight. 25-yard field goal there, so the Argos creep a little closer.
All in the one play by Daryl Mitchell. That nice pattern in the open field on Tyrone Bell, which will be a matchup we'll look at. And these guys are probably looking at throughout the game as well.
Look at the game faces they've got on tonight.
Oh, yeah, ready to go to battle. Ready to go to battle.
4 games this week on TSN, so you'll get enough of those guys. Starting at halftime tonight.
You can never get enough of those guys.
Thursday, it's Saskatchewan and Montreal. Friday, Calgary and Hamilton. Saturday, Toronto and Edmonton.
Still plenty of time for the Lions to put some more points on the board.
That's Willie Hurst. Another 5-yard gain.
Well, you know, Steve Brado's probably happy that he has the lead, but will go in and be a little bit disappointed with the fact that they probably had 2 plays that with deep balls that they didn't connect on. That's 14 points. And then the first drive of the game to open up was in scoring range when they fumbled the ball. So could have been 21-point difference.
Allen on 2nd and 5 near side. Thelwell has the catch and the first down. Broke a tackle. And he's up to the 55-yard line and across. Ryan Thelwell. And Thelwell has had a couple of problems in the early going, a couple of drops.
Corey Mantika is going to bring this back. Corey Mantika lost his cool well after the play.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness, BC 68. Is after the play, first down.
So it'll be a first down, but the Lions lose yardage here with 2:05 to go.
Well, Corey Mantika kind of tied. He jumped on the pile and he got tied up a little bit with Michael O'Shea. He's going to come from the left of your screen. There's Michael O'Shea and he's already down. See, Corey Mantika falls over him, then they get up and they push a little bit, and Mantika pushed that one extra time, and it's always that one extra one to get you the flag.
So it's a first down. BC back at the 40. Willie Hurst, a rookie runner out of Washington, 5'8", 196 pounds, ran into Johnny Scott, 6'2", 270.
And with Willie Hurst's speed, and speed that they tell us that he has, the way that Gary Etcheverry likes to play defense with a lot of people right on the line of scrimmage, he really only needs a tiny little seam. Etcheverry loves to play on the edge and get everybody up there. 7, 8 guys right on the line, and when you do that, you need one little seam, one little block, and with great speed you can go.
Hurst closing in on 50 yards in the first half, and this one is illegal as well, so penalty markers are down.
BC number 9, third down.
You see, second down conversions have really hurt the Lions. Well, and that's one of the things that Steve Barretto is really concerned about. Looking at 2nd and 5 there. An opportunity to keep the ball for another minute and a half.
Well, if you continue to self-destruct as a team with penalties at the wrong time, sooner or later the opposition is going to start to take advantage of them. And right now the Argos haven't been able to do that to a point where they could get the lead, but they're within striking range, just down by 4.
Martino gets a better kick away. Marcellus Turner at the 25. Nowhere to go. 6 Lions surrounded him, and there was no return. Jennifer Hedger and Gino Retta will have the next edition of Sports Center when we're done here, 2 a.m. Eastern Time.
Maybe a G. Roy Simon pass to Larry Thompson.
Oh, I think that's in the highlights.
Makes the highlight package.
Making the connection.
Maybe could be the highlight of the night candidate, maybe?
Yeah, as long as there's no more singing by you.
Now, you had to bring it up, didn't you? I should know by now, you know, 8 years now in the business of TV.
The mics are always on.
And the cameras are always on.
You should know better.
They got me. They got me.
Hope your career's all right after that. Baron Simpson, Rookie of the Year last year, and he's picked up exactly where he left off.
Yeah, and I asked him about the difference in the defense As opposed to the defense last year, where he had 115 tackles. Of course, Gary Echeverry, his coordinator last year, he said, you know, for me, you can run any system you want. My job is to get to the ball.
Showing more leadership this year. Bishop barely got it away, and a miracle catch far side by Jeff Johnson. But there's a penalty on that one as well.
Well, likely the message from both coaches at halftime to their players is eliminate penalties. We just seen the yellow flag way too much.
Illegal contact on a receiver. BC 39. First down.
Lions have had difficulty with that particular situation a couple of times tonight. Interference.
Well, and there's good and bad penalties too. I mean, if you're beat deep and you in desperation grab a guy, that's one thing, but these illegal contact penalties, procedure penalties, and time count kind of penalties those are the bad penalties. That's a bad category.
Well, and the previous penalty against the Lions hurt too, because it was a procedure call that gave the Argos time on the clock and another first down as a result of the last penalty. Bishop looking deep, all alone. Mike Morreale, and Morreale is inside the 15. No one saw Morreale until Matt McKnight got over to make the tackle.
Well, it starts out with great protection up front for Michael Bishop, and now the defensive backs in the backfield start to get stretched. See, there's a bunch of steamboats for Bishop to that side. Now he sees the lane, takes off. Now he freezes the DBs. Do they come out of coverage and go and tackle Bishop, or do they stay back on the receiver? For the Lions, they decided to come up on Bishop, and Morreale was in behind him.
First catch for Morreale, 57 yards. Bishop with the first down. End zone toss, almost down to the 1-yard line. And Nigel Williams goes up and brings it down.
When you continue to self-destruct with bad penalties like the Lions have, sooner or later the opponent will take advantage of it. And quickly here to lead us into the half, the Argos are starting to do that.
Couple of penalties against the BC Lions, and I think we'll look at that procedure call on 2nd and 5. Here's another marker down as a touchdown is indicated, but the penalty flag flew before that.
Steve Barato yesterday in the press conference basically said that
offside.
Bishop will celebrate.
Penalties declined.
Touchdown Toronto. Michael Bishop finishes the drive himself with a 1-yard touchdown.
Barato said yesterday, he said, you know, Michael Bishop, yes, he's young. Yes, he's inexperienced. We'll give him different looks. Maybe we can confuse him, but he scares me to death. And the reason he said that was because when he gets outside and starts running, he can be dangerous, just simply from an athletic standpoint.
The Argos scored the first touchdown of the evening in Vancouver. And they have one more and the lead for the second time.
And all of a sudden, a half that you would feel that the Lions have basically controlled is now a half that they do not lead any longer.
A 1-yard plunge. The rookie quarterback, Michael Bishop, gets over the top and sticks at the end zone. Penalty was after the fact, as you saw that piece of nylon float down. And here's Morreale wide open. 57 yards here, sets it up.
That's a tough throw to make too, because Bishop was running full speed to his left. Had the presence of mind to see Mike Morreale down the field, number one, and then get his body and shoulders around to get that ball out there. But he has a strong arm. No one questions that. Not even
the president.
The president.
Like Pinball Clemens talking with his quarterback. Bishop has performed well in this game in many ways. Through the interception for a touchdown to Carl Kidd.
See, they started off real slow. You look all the way up to that line. Starts off slow with a bunch of punts and an interception, but then mistakes by the Lions kept giving them more chances. And then they come back with a field goal and a touchdown.
10 points in the last two possessions. Willie Hurst. And 34 seconds remain till halftime. Charles Assman leading the tacklers there.
It is so difficult as a defensive back to try and figure out what you want to do. It's almost pick your poison, because when Michael Bishop takes off to run on this throw to Mike Morreale, see, he gets 30-40 yards. There's no one around him, and that puts you in a bind as a DB.
You said a tough pass to throw. It was. A little jump pass there.
Strong arm that about 45 yards.
Damon Allen, 34 seconds to work with. Can he get in range for a field goal? Yes, he does. Ryan Thelwell made the catch.
Maybe more. There is time with 28 seconds for probably 3 plays from Damon Allen.
Well, I think he's in range for a field goal on
he is right
that
now.
play. And yes, you have 28 seconds showing on the scoreboard. So time for plays with a CFL veteran like Damon Allen. Hurry up offense. Sean Millington broke 1 tackle. He's inside the 30. Mike O'Shea made the tackle there. 7 yards.
Matt Kellett will try and take some of that momentum away, provided the Lions can control and hang on to the ball for 18 seconds more. He warms up for a field goal that right now would be a 37-yarder, well within his range.
It is the Argos 17, the Lions 14. Allen looking deep, no one home. 4 seconds on the clock, and there was another miscue between quarterback and receiver.
Well, yeah, he wanted a Larry Thompson to go straight down the field, but it was a heads-up play by Damon Allen because he knew how much time he had, and he didn't want to waste too much time scrambling around and having Larry Thompson try and break his pattern off and find an open area. So he knew he had 1 crack at it. If the guy's not there, you got to get rid of it and give your kicker a chance.
Matt Kellett is having a pretty nice season, Glenn. Perfect so far. 5 for 5.
You jinxed him.
Misses that one, and the Lions won't get a point on the last play of the opening half. Interesting first half, to say the very least.
Lions controlled it, but they don't control it on the scoreboard.
Now they're down 17-14.
At the Half is brought to you by Wendy's. Wendy's Classic Double with Cheese is made fresh right when you order it. It's better here.
And welcome into Wendy's at the Half. Dave Randorf along with Jock Climby and Matt Dunnigan and Chris Schultz. So the BC Lions showing flashes here and there, but the facts are they've given away a football field's length worth of penalties, and that is something that Steve Barata will be addressing right about now. Now, we're going to talk about Michael Bishop in just a moment. There's lots to talk about there, the rookie quarterback for the Argos. But dig beneath the surface on why he's having some success. And if you ask an O-lineman as to why he's having success, every time he's going to say the
offensive line. And once again, I'll tell you exactly why Michael Bishop is making some great plays out of the pocket. He did that last week. But this week, he's making some great plays in the pocket. And the reason is Dwayne Morgan, Juan Roque, Thomas Ram. You see that pocket right there? They did not have that previously. Jude St. John and Chad Folk. One of the most unusual things is to start three Americans on the offensive line. I think it was a good decision to do that because what do you want from your quarterback? Confidence. All those guys are physically gifted, mobile athletes, and I think it is proving beneficial to Michael Bishop because of that personnel decision that Echeverry made. Matty.
Dobson doing a good job moving that young quarterback around, Chris, and by doing so, he's getting that protection, enabling him to sit in that pocket and have that pocket form so often that Chris alludes to those offensive linemen. But, hey, there's another guy getting it done with athletic ability on the other side of the ball, and that's Damon Allen. Here we see him play action, using his run, which he's established already. He's got his man Willie right here, and he's got Millington, and he's going to simply just play action this way, and we'll watch this unfold and watch the defense react. Boom, right there, little hide and go seek. Damon says, now you see it, now you don't. Everybody commits this way. Shoot, Scott's got his back to the play. He doesn't know where it's at. Damon goes out and around and does what he does best. Just slings the ball to Brett Anderson. And watch this effort, folks. Look at that. He is laying out. He is horizontal. Anytime a receiver gets that type of effort to his quarterback, he's going to see the ball more often. Super job, Jock, by Damon Allen, using the play action, getting out on the corner, using that athletic ability, and then Brett Anderson. That picture says 1,000 words.
Brett Anderson being the athlete. Did Chris say something about
I think he's
mobile athletes, offensive linemen?
Hey, those kids are 6'7", 350 pounds, and they can move.
I thought I
That's a contradiction in athletic ability.
Okay, well, I'm going to talk a little bit about the BC offensive line as well on this play, and it's a play that BC runs here, but folks at home who may have been paying attention may notice that formation looks familiar. BC here is using a formation where they take their 3 receivers and bunch them tight to the line. And they're going to use these guys to crack down on Toronto's defense and pitch the ball out. Damon Allen has just play action, the run play up the middle, and now he's going to pitch it out. Now, John O'Doneto, the left tackle there, is the big hog. There's your big mobile athlete, Schultze, leading the way, kicking out on Adrian Smith on the cornerback. That is a formation that Calgary Stampeders made popular over the last couple of seasons, and BC runs it to great effect here for great yards from Willie Hurst. There's no shame in taking another team's play if you can make it work.
When we started talking about this game, we felt the pressure was going to be on the hometown BC Lions, and that pressure's been turned up just a notch with the performance of the rookie quarterback Michael Bishop and the fact the Argos have a 3-point lead. It is 17-14 at the stadium at BC Place. One of the more memorable plays of the first half. G. Roy Simon to Larry Thompson, a 71-yard connection. However, the Lions trail by 3.
This day in the CFL, brought to you by SportCheck.ca, Canada's choice for sports.
July 9th, 1993, Dave Ritchie's BC Lions taking on the Saskatchewan Roughriders. There's Danny Barrett going right to work, hitting his slot back Matt Clark from 12 yards out, and the Leos were up by 5 over the Green Riders. Minutes later, Kent Austin is going to hook up with his veteran slot back Jeff Fairholm, who breaks a couple of tackles and is gone. 75 yards. The Rough Riders tie the game at 26, and here's the winning play in the dying seconds. Barrett, a ball that has eyes right into the arms of Ray Alexander. Lions win a thriller, 33-26. Welcome back. Once again, we find ourselves talking about the rookie quarterback of the Argonauts, Michael Bishop. Last week against the Alouettes, he had his pocket picked, and it cost him a touchdown. This week, he makes another very costly mistake, throwing an interception that costs a touchdown. But you guys loved the reaction, didn't you, Matty?
I loved it because it showed me that he's got character. It showed me that, hey, look, fellas, I want the responsibility of doing things right on this football field. It's not like he's got a propensity to throw interceptions. It's only his second of his career. It's his second game. He's telling the guys around him, hey, I want the opportunity to work with you. Stay with me. I can get the job done, is what he's telling me by saying, hey, fellas, my fault, my fault.
Now, fellas, I've regaled you with tales from Rod Rust before, and let me give you another one. Rod Rust actually had a rule in training camp, or actually through the whole season. You're never allowed to say, my bad. Because he felt that players that say, my bad, are simply turning the page, and they're not taking the time to properly reflect on what they've done.
I don't know. I think you take responsibility for your mistakes, and you express that to your teammates, and you know what that does? That really allows the teammates to rally around you. I like it. You know what it reminds me of? Jason Moss in Edmonton. Remember, we were watching Jason Moss all the time, and the thing we loved about him was his desire and his acceptance of responsibility, that it's my football team, good or bad. I loved it too.
Chris, he's showing accountability there, and his team rallied there late in the half for him.
Well, yeah, since the interception, he's thrown a long ball to Mitchell that led to a Toronto field goal, and he threw a long ball to Mike Morreale, which led to his own touchdown plunge, and his Argonauts have the lead by 3. Hey, you want to get out to a ballpark and see some live CFL action? Get out the pen, the paper, jot down these numbers, and go check out some CFL Live. You are watching Wendy's CFL Live tonight on TSN. Halftime numbers are brought to you by Moore's. Well-made, well-priced, well-dressed. Jock Climby, what do you see there?
Well, it's 2 even football teams, only one big difference here, and that's the penalty yards. Look at that, 116-45. BC Lions have given Toronto a touchdown with their lack of discipline, and nothing will drive a coach crazier than that.
Yeah, I'm not an expert, but that doesn't look good to me. Here's Farhan Lalji with the Argonauts head coach, Gary Echeverry.
Thank you very much, Coach. For a while, it looked like the Lions had the advantage in time of possession and in total yardage, but you come out of this half ahead.
Yeah, it's two ball clubs looking for their first win. It's a hell of a ball game, and let's hope it keeps going this way. I was just telling you, I hope that was the last gun instead of halftime.
How about the play of your quarterback, Michael Bishop? For a while, it looked like the Lions were containing him, but then late in the half, he showed what he's capable of doing.
Well, he's a lot in that regard like Damon is. You know, you think you contain him, but those people are hard to contain at any point in time.
Coach, good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
The BC Lions have scored 1 touchdown with their offense and 1 with their defense. It came from an interception return from Carl Kidd. However, his Lions trail by 3. Second half coming up.
Gary Echeverry's Toronto Argonauts have the halftime lead. It's 17-14 on the other side. Steve Barretto a little unhappy with his Lions as we get set for the kickoff to begin the second half.
Well, and he has reason to be unhappy. If you're Steve Barato, he's way too many penalties from his team in the first half. So Gary Echeverry has the lead and he gets the ball first. Lions won the toss.
Second half is underway. Kickoff coming down a little short. It's Marcellus Turner for the Argonauts. And the Lions head coach with Farhan Lalji moments ago.
Thank you very much, Coach. The big story for you guys in that half, 13 penalties, 116 yards. How does that change?
How does that change? Give them a lobotomy. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. Look like a junior high school football team out there. You can't play football. You can't. Everything he's got, we've given to him, aside from one player or another. Just a couple plays.
Offensively, it seems like you probably move the ball as well as you have all season, but finish still seems to be the problem.
Can't finish it when you get in the scoring zone. Turned it over down there again. Our most reliable guy turned it over this time.
Coach, good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Argos begin at the 38 with the lead. Loose ball. And it looks like Toronto got it right back. A little difficulty on the exchange, and Michael Bishop had to go down to the turf and get it back. A lot riding on this game and this season here in BC.
Well, no question. And you know, there's new management, and Bob Ackles running the show, and he's obviously watching the coaching staff and Adam Rita very closely and evaluating as the year goes on. And David Braley doing the same thing as the owner, and in fact traveling out to watch this game live here. So, you know, these guys are under the gun. I mean, every coaching staff is, but at 0-2, they become that much more important.
Loss of a couple, and the 20th penalty flag of the evening hits the turf.
And you know, for the Lions anyway, they've been unnecessary penalties that are avoidable.
Illegal procedure. Toronto 66. Still second down.
Looking back to that time count violation near the end of the opening half on 2nd and 5 that gave the Argonauts the opportunity to get into the lead.
Absolutely. And you know, Steve Barato also had Corey Mantica, veteran offensive lineman, get a late hit, and unnecessary roughness call after a first down was gained. So those are the avoidable penalties, the penalties that you can do with a little more discipline. You can avoid them. But when you have 116 yards, which is more yards you threw for in the first half, that's why the coach is upset.
Second and a bunch, and this one is going nowhere. So the Argos forced quickly into a punting situation. Quick assessment of Michael Bishop in the first half.
Hey, I like the way he bounced back from adversity, and I think that was more than anything the key for him. And it always goes back, and I know the panel just talked about it at halftime, but it's worth repeating. It goes back to the interception he threw to Carl Kidd, how he took responsibility for it and moved on, and then moved on and made some plays.
Playing with a little more confidence than he did a week ago, and this will be called back as well. Penalty number 21. Can't blame the officials for this.
Illegal
this is
procedure.
The teams.
Toronto number 30. Still third down.
Another procedure call.
And Michael Bishop, of course, will get right on the headset immediately. Corey McDermott up in the booth, talk to him, and they will keep in contact and make sure that Michael Bishop is on the same page, the offensive coordinator, and make sure that he's got a chance to have success as this game goes on. But you're right, he's playing with more confidence, it seems, every series.
Nice kick by Prefontaine. G-Roy Simon beginning at the 30. Good return here for Simon. Needs a block. Can't quite get that, but a superb return. 44 yards. G-Roy Simon and the Lions are in business early in the second half. This was pretty.
Very nice. Right up the field.
Thing is way out of control. For tickets, call 416-872-5000 or visit Ticketmaster.ca.
Well, we'll look forward to that night. Argos still with some unfinished business here. That's Willie Hurst on a first down for the BC Lions. An 11-yard gain there after a spectacular return by G-Roy Simon.
Yeah, he gets things set up for the BC Lions with a nice return. He gets some help from his friends, but it's really drawn up exactly the way G-Roy Simon wants. Look at the angles by the blockers. Simon is in charge of one guy. He just has to make Michael O'Shea miss, and he does right there with a little cut to the right and up the middle. Now he's got the Lions in a good position, scoring position, as a matter of fact.
Willie Hurst having a nice night. That's how close he is to a first down. He's got it. 8th carry, 56 yards.
Yeah, he has shown some things, Willie Hurst. You can see that he can make you miss in the hole, and what I mean by that, that's right at the point of attack, right at the line of scrimmage. And there's not much room up there in the line of scrimmage, those big guys. That's where they hang out.
Was not at the BC Lions camp. He was on their list, and they were thinking about bringing him in, but injuries in training camp got him a chance, and he's taking advantage of it tonight. That time Montford got him from behind.
Well, Montford had no responsibility for containment on the play, and Montford's coming right down the line. And Damon Allen caught it out of the corner of his eye, and Damon Allen has the green light to pull the ball out of there if he thinks the defensive ends are going to cheat down the line of scrimmage like that. And he has taken note. Damon Allen just said memo to self. Might want to pull the ball out of there.
Put it on a post-it note. Oh, he missed Simon there on 2nd and 8. G-Roy Simon.
You know, but that's not bad for the Lions. Joe Montford makes a play, puts them in 2nd and long, and they don't convert. But they're in field goal range, and they haven't put the ball on the ground or piled up 2 or 3 penalties to put them out of field goal range. And Montford with a pretty nice play. Now, you could tell he didn't have responsibility for Damon Allen on that last one.
Matt Kellett was 5 for 5 coming into tonight's game until I jinxed him, so he missed from 44. Gets a chance for the tie here. 29. Marcellus Turner will give up the point this time. And Kellett is 0 for 2. Costly misses. That one from in close enough to make it. 2-point game now. Holder on the left, kicker on the right. You know that feeling, don't you?
Well, yeah, I've been there because I was a holder. This is Jason Crum's hold. He spins the ball, but it leans the wrong way. The ball's got to lean either a little bit towards the holder or a little bit back towards the kicker, and it was leaning forward.
Another missed opportunity for the Lions. Another flag is down, and so is Michael Bishop. There will be no gain. Brett Johnson pinned him there.
And you could tell right away that Matt Kellett looked at the holder, Jason Crum, and they went straight to the sideline to discuss it. Now they continue to discuss it because it's a matter of just a few inches. But you see Kellett looked right down and said, no, that's not what I wanted.
He's 0 for 2 tonight, missing from 44. Final play of the first half, and 29 here. As a result, the Argonauts cling to a 2-point lead.
And the best thing they can do now is let it go, because it looks like some frustration between the two of them, and they have to have a good relationship up there. The kicker has to trust his holder.
Bishop actually lost a yard in the previous play. This is 2nd and 11. And 2 markers come down in the coverage. Pass intended for Chad Plummer.
Tyrone Bell
Forward
was
pass interference. BC 31. First down.
Well, they were hand fighting all the way down the field, and it went both ways. And I think the boos from the crowd, and my question would be, was the ball catchable? Of course, Chad Plummer had stopped running because of the contact.
14th penalty against the Lions. It's cost them 135 yards. Argo drive continues with a 19-yard gain there. Bishop handing off. Sam Zanders picking up less than a yard.
And, you know, Bishop, for the second and part of this third quarter, has found himself in some second and long situations. In other words, over about 8 yards, and that's not easy. He's in 2nd and 10 now.
Well, he was 2nd and 11 on the play they gained 19 on because of the penalty. Got it away in a hurry. Good coverage that time on Plummer by Tyrone Bell.
And this time Tyrone Bell just ran with Plummer and didn't put it in the hands of the officials. In other words, there will be no hand checking, no grabbing. He just jumped up, timed his jump, and knocked that ball down because the officials have been quick with the trigger finger tonight. And they're watching. Tyrone Bell played that one cleanly.
Prefontaine for the Argos. Geroy Simon for the Lions. Prefontaine back inside his 40.
He's the only guy back, though.
This will be short. Takes a bad hop for BC. The 2 penalty markers come down, so it'll be a no yards call against the Argos on the coverage. Orlando Bowen was in the area. Nothing on the return. 53 on the punt. Let's bring in Farhan again.
Thanks, John. We're here with another member of the Lions mass unit, Alfred Jackson. Tell us about your injured collarbone.
What it is a dislocated collarbone with a slightly fracture of the sternum. So it gives me 2 weeks to heal, and I'll be back in there.
Yeah, and I talked to you earlier this week. You said you're hoping to play next week. How realistic is that?
There's a possibility. I mean, it's coming along. The rehab is going good. Working with Bill Richard. It's feeling pretty good every day, so who knows?
And when you go out there and you see Brett Anderson and Geroy Simon just fall up a little bit short, how much does that make you itch to want to get back out there?
It makes me want to itch a lot. I mean, we're so close. We're so close, but I think these guys are going to keep fighting, you know, and the key is they got to play for 60 minutes.
AJ, get well soon.
Thank you.
He is the key to the Lions passing game, is he not?
Yeah, he really is. And when you add them all up, I mean, that's a pretty impressive list. 3 starting offensive linemen. Tyrone Taylor that made a bunch of plays in the preseason. Eric Carter, all-star corner. And there's Alfred Jackson.
Penalty against the Argos sets the Lions up near the 20. This is Hurst again. Great burst of speed by Willie Hurst. Cut from behind near the 50. Yeah, just about took it all the way.
Yeah, that's a great football play in a lot of ways. First, the speed of Willie Hurst, but how about Joe Mumford, who's the guy who chases him from the line of scrimmage all the way down the field and then catches him. And this is a nice burst by Willie Hurst. Look at number 53 weave through there and then put the Jets on himself. That's a big man running down Willie Hurst.
It really was a nice tackle and run by Joe Mumford.
Willie Hurst scores a touchdown if Joe Mumford doesn't come up with that second effort.
31-yard gain. Allen looks for a positive from that and finds Brett Anderson for another first down. Always there for these guys. Brett Anderson, first start of 2002.
So, you know, with Willie Hurst, this is what you like about him is that quickness to the outside. If the hole is not there, now you've got to do it on your own. Mumford tracks him down, saves a touchdown, but not after Hurst had picked up some nice yardage with very good lateral foot movement.
Another Lions first down. An 11-yard gain from Anderson. On the toss from Allen. Here's Sean Millington. More than halfway to a first down with that run.
And then you give it to the big guy, and he pounds it up in there on the linebackers and the free safety Michael Fletcher. You know, and it's a tough situation defensively because you get ready. It's called bowing your neck, and what you do as a defensive player, as a big guy like Millington comes in there, you bow your neck and get ready to take a big blow. And then the next time they give it to little Willie Hurst, and now you got your neck bowed and he goes around you.
3 receivers to the near side, and Millington pounds his way. He's fired back by the Argonaut defense, but he will get some forward progress there. I'm not sure where they'll spot the ball.
You know, and it's funny how one player that has success on a team in the league can start to change the thinking of the rest of the teams. When you look at Winnipeg with Charles Roberts and what he did last year, and then they go and get Mike Sellers and Charles Roberts together. Now defenses have to handle with that combination, and now the Lions are trying to find that same combination here in BC.
Enough from Millington. A 6-yard gain. Another BC first down. So Millington takes it again. And Sonius Bonner, number 10, was there to meet him, along with a safety, Michael Fletcher. Four yards for Millington.
And this is where Gary Echeverry defensively likes to put everybody up on the line of scrimmage. See if he can't force a mistake, and you can see them all up there right now.
Allen on 2nd and 6. Nice play action fake. Allen has time, throws under the cover. Green made the catch, but stopped well short of the first down. Allen couldn't find a receiver deep.
Well, he certainly had the time. You're right. The fake was a perfect fake, and he also had Johnny Scott on his knees. Johnny Scott fell down trying to get containment. The fake to Sean Millington right there. Now watch Johnny Scott. See, Johnny Scott's right up in there. He goes down and can't get up in time, but Ryan Thelwell at the other end of the play had also tripped.
Critical moment for the BC Lions. Kellett tries to make his 3rd field goal of the night, and that one won't work either. He's 0 for 3. And there's a problem in communication between the kicker and the holder. This just isn't going well.
9 points that are makeable field goals.
Absolutely. Perfect coming in. He's having a horrible night tonight. Matt Kellett. Kicking problems continuing for the BC Lions. Matt Kellett misses this too.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if it's a kicking problem or a hold problem or maybe a combination of both, because the hold has got to be on the angle towards the kicker. See, this is the angle here. If the hold is more on this angle, the kicker can get underneath the football and get some air on it. The angle goes forward, that ball's going to knuckle forward, and that's exactly what it does. It got no height off the line of scrimmage.
That was a miss from 37 earlier, a miss from 29, and in the first half from 44.
You know, and now you wonder about the confidence in the coach and the kicker.
Sam Sanders escapes. He'll get a first down for the Argos. Toronto beginning inside the 20, and that's a huge play. But after it, penalty markers come down.
It's going to be Carl Kidd.
That'll be the 3rd if you're correct on Kidd there, and I think you are.
And I'm just, it was a push in the back right at the sideline. The question was,
major foul, unnecessary roughness, BC 26, first down.
Was Sam Sanders out of bounds when he was pushed? Because this is not a quarterback that has to be protected. That's a running back on the sideline. Well, he was. He was a step and a half on that white stripe on the sideline when Carl Kidd hit him in the back. Another avoidable mistake.
Look at that, 165 yards in penalties.
They're going to get 2 bills before it's over.
Net 33 for the Argos. Bishop has a man open. It's Plummer. Catch made. Chad Plummer went up high. And Bishop has had a nice evening.
Well, and what about Chad Plummer, too, which has been one of his go-to guys. Chad Plummer coming in was the leading receiver for the Argos, a newcomer. Had 5 catches for 103 yards, and he drew an interference call earlier in the game from Tyrone Bell and got a nice pass there. A nice find for the Argonauts.
He's a keeper. Quarterback at Cincinnati in college for a while. This is Bishop. No one to throw to. Brett Johnson has him. The gain is 4.
You know, and the play of Michael Bishop since he threw the interception means that Reggie Slack can continue to do what he's doing.
Hold the clipboard and provide some comfort and relief on the sidelines in a veteran presence.
And you see how they looked at each other's wristbands. See, Slack looks at the wristband and Bishop looks at the same play on the wristband. Now Slack can take a mental repetition of the play from the sideline.
Second down, 3 receivers to the near side, and Bishop was thinking run all the time. He'll get the first down. And a hard-nosed customer he is. He's inside the 20 to about the 18. Carl Kidd was there to make the tackle. No slide in this guy.
Well, let's see what Michael Bishop was looking at. He was looking to the left. He wanted Daryl Mitchell, and Daryl Mitchell goes down the field. He gets in behind. Now, the linebacker dropped right under that. That's Carl Kidd. So because of the position of Carl Kidd, Bishop, without hesitation, take off and use his legs.
16 yards for Michael Bishop. The Argonauts are threatening again. Inside the 20 with a first down. To his right, end zone toss. Almost. Mike Morreale got one hand on it, couldn't bring it down.
Anthony Pryor's got to be careful there. He's going to get a call.
There is a call. There it is.
Anthony Pryor got up very upset that he was interfered with by Mike Morreale, and he got right in the face of the officials. And the official put up with the first whatever he said to him, but he wasn't going the second time around.
Conduct. BC 27. First down.
The Lions are self-destructing.
You know, again, it's an incomplete pass. Anthony Pryor knew it. This is the end. He felt he was pushed down. So he gets up, and he's right in the face of the official. Now, the official let him walk away, and then he chased him, and that was it. Here comes the flag. No verbal abuse towards the official is tolerated. And you're right. They're self-destruct one more time.
First and goal. Here's Bishop. Coverage was too tight. Bell was all over Morreale. Tyrone Bell on Mike Morreale. No catch.
Now, Tyrone Bell showing some frustration. He got up and started talking to Mike Morreale. And Steve Barato's really got to get the reins on his players that are starting to play with a lack of discipline across the board.
The Lions are only down by 2 points.
See, that's avoidable. That's an incompletion. You go line up again and do your job one more time. And I understand the frustration, but there's another play coming up right after that one. You can take it out then.
Second and goal from the 6. The rookie, Mike Bishop. The charge was on, and the Lions got to him. So a field goal is all the Argos will get here. Baron Simpson, number 51, who's turning into a leader on this defense in his sophomore season.
Sure is.
Got to him.
No sophomore jinx there from number 51, who's coming off, and he beats the block there by Sam Zanders, and Michael Bishop just throws that one into the turf. And Reggie Slack, the first guy to go over and say to him, that's exactly what you got to do when Baron Simpson is bearing down on you.
Prefontaine will try to add to the Argo lead. No problem there. 3 more for Toronto. And the BC Lions struggle continues. It's been a tough second half already. Vancouver tonight, Hamilton on Friday night for Wendy's Friday Night Football. Stamps are in town to take on the Ticats. And 1-1, Calgary looking for victory number 1. We'll be there for that. Willie Hurst having a very nice debut. First start. He's 5'8", 196.
And you know, in the Canadian Football League, you really don't get many second chances as far as when you're a rookie who's not proven anything. So Hurst, 97 yards so far in the game, has proven he can do something.
And another carry for Willie Hurst on second down. Joe Montford was there to meet him.
And I guess the good news in the 2 drives there is for the BC Lions is a first down created, both to Willie Hurst, and not one flag in 2 plays.
Hurst has it up for the first down. And he'll get a breather. Brian Thelwell to the near side. Double tight end set. Sean Millington. He's run well all evening long as well. Antonius Bonner was there to make the stop. You're on, Farhan.
Well, guys, I just had a chance to talk to Lions kicker Matt Kellett, and he talked about his last 2 field goal misses, which weren't even close. He said on the second one, the ball wasn't leaning forward, but it was still spinning when he kicked it. That caused the problem. The third one, he just blamed on himself. He said the hold was fine. He's just got to get the ball a little higher. I also told him that Wellesley jinxed him. He said, "You're not on my Christmas card list anymore, John."
That's it, eh?
Well,
have you ever had a card from a kicker?
Not even from the one I played with.
Nowhere for Millington that time. So it was second down and about 4 necessary. And that'll be the end of the third quarter. It was not kind to the BC Lions, but when you look at the scoreboard, they're only down by 5, and there's a long way to go.
Yeah, 2015 for the Toronto Argonauts through 3 quarters on the road. They are loving this situation. The BC Lions, as Wellesley mentioned, are not. 3 missed field goals. They've got 1 single out of it, so they've blown 8 points, Jock. Wait until the rookie gets his microphone on. You just gotta hold it like that.
I'm good to roll. Here we go.
You just hold it
I'm good to
and
go.
talk to us.
Let's go. Let's roll. Let's roll. All right. I can't control these things. Sometimes they just happen. Slippery hands. Here, I want to talk about special teams and how important it is. And what we're going to see here is a Prefontaine punt by Toronto. And every special teams coordinator in this league has a choice. They can actually have their punter angle the ball towards the sideline like Glenn Harper does in Ottawa. Does a fantastic job of it. Or they can do what Toronto does in Prefontaine, which is punt the ball right down the middle of the field. Every time you punt the ball down the middle of the field, you are giving the coverage team a real difficult time covering their lanes. This ball goes straight up the middle for close to 50 yards. This is the choice. Prefontaine led the league for 3 straight years in punting average because he was able to kick the ball straight down the field. Now, conversely, someone like Harper is going to take 4 or 5 yards off his punting average in order to try and pin the team on the sideline.
Hey, I'm going to try that new broadcasting technique you tried. We're all going to hold our microphones on this one. I want to talk about the penalties. 17 for 180, and I want to show you the ridiculous one. Now, this may seem very simplistic, but this is a left tackle, O'Donato. Now, I know he's an American kid, and he has not played a lot of Canadian football, but you have to be aware of the rules. And this is a field goal. You have to give 5 yards. What does he do? He treats it out of his comfort zone with the Americans, and that's ridiculous. You got to know these rules because that's something else. You ain't going to try this, Matty?
No, I'm not going there. You guys have handled that for me. I'll say this about the BC Lions. They may be self-destructing, but the fact of the matter is they're only 5 points out of this ball game. Toronto Argonauts need to finish their drives, put majors on the board, but I think Michael Bishop is being a headsy quarterback, David. Hey, the Lions are still in this. It's going to be a great fourth quarter.
Rookie for the Argos, rookie to my left, gets it done. Let's send you back for the fourth quarter.
And we're ready for this at the stadium at BC Place. Quarter number 4 in a 5-point ball game. Lions in a punting situation. Turner is deep for Martino's kick, and he had to bring it down. Not a beauty, was it? Numbers through 3 quarters. Look to the bottom of the page.
Yeah, that's been the story, the penalty situation. But on the positive side for the Lions, Willie Hurst has put together a pretty good night already. He's got a quarter to go, and like Matt Dunnigan just mentioned, they're certainly not out of this game just down by 5 points. Maybe they have something in Willie Hurst out of Washington.
I'm betting he gets his 100 tonight.
Oh, you're going to go way out on that limb, are you?
Way out there.
3 yards to go.
First and 10 Argos beginning just outside the 30. Michael Bishop back against the flow. Williams the target. And the coverage is awfully tight. Almost picked up by Cedric Curry on a deflection.
Nigel Williams and Anthony Pryor are in an all-out battle that starts at the line of scrimmage, basically, or just off it, and ends up down the field. See how they're up and bump and run right on the sideline. Look at this. One-on-one, just me and a whole bunch of field. Nigel Williams going straight down, and now the battle begins, and Pryor bends all the way back to get his hands on it.
Yeah, that was a great play by Pryor, and Curry almost got the deflection.
Pryor gives up about 4 inches to Nigel Williams.
Second and 10 Argos. Bishop in a hurry now decides to take off. Barron Simpson has a beat on him. He gets Morelli, and that'll be good for an Argonaut first down.
Well, Daryl Mitchell has started to become quiet in this second half, and Mitchell is in here. Daryl Mitchell trying to work open for his quarterback, and he looks that way first. This time Pryor slides in there. By that time now, Michael Bishop is out and running, so Mitchell can't get over there, and he finds Morreale, who's in his sight lines.
$14 yards for Morreale. Argos at the 45. Sam Zanders. And Baron Simpson was waiting.
You know, and earlier in the first half, they got an interference call when Daryl Mitchell went down the field. That set up points, and then Mitchell had that great corner pattern in the second quarter to set up a field goal. So, you know, just 2 catches is really not enough for a perennial all-star.
1 for the touchdown, however. 5 receptions for Mitchell, and 3 are touchdowns so far in 2002. But you're right, he's got to get the ball more on.
Here he goes now.
There's Mitchell, coverage by Bell. Got a hand in there. And not much of an argument from Daryl Mitchell.
Well, because he didn't see the ball the entire time anyway, so he's not arguing about interference. That ball was kind of thrown a little deeper than he expected. And he turned around, and it was a search. He had the searchlights on right now. He's going, where's the ball? Can't see the ball. It's not down there short. Trying to look through Tyrone Bell. Basically, I don't think he ever saw it until it bounced.
I'm not so sure he did either. I was just wondering if he might have thought about screening there, because Bell didn't see it coming till the last second either.
Well, yeah, I thought Bell looked back.
Okay.
Just long enough.
Kickers are having a nightmare here tonight. There's one from Prefontaine that wasn't a beauty either. Damon Allen gets another chance to get the Lions back in the lead. They trail by 5. Baseball is a pro at 1.2 a.m. Gino Reda, Jennifer Hedger. Next edition of Sports Center on TSN tonight. Hurst has got his 100. Willie Hurst well over it with that run. Antonius Bonner made the tackle for the Argonauts, and this guy is a keeper.
So you talk about that little seam. He just needs a little one with that burst of speed. He shows it right there as in hits 5th and 6th gear, and when he hits that 6th gear, he is gone right there, running by pursuit angles from the likes of guys like Michael O'Shea.
Brightest spot for the BC Lions tonight. 121 yards. Another 5 there. Willie Hurst.
You know,
Mike O'Shea made the stop.
And it's interesting, and it always amazes me with guys like Willie Hurst or Charles Robertson, guys that aren't the biggest guys in the game, 5'9", not necessarily one of the bigger guys, but he sure doesn't run like it. And Steve Barrato loves that about him. Not only his speed, but that when he hits in there in the line of scrimmage, that is, you know, guys at 270, 275, 240, he doesn't show any signs of fear. He hits it in there hard, and he's only 5'9".
Second down and 6. Allen has to bring it down. Scrambling to find a target. Not this time, and he paid the price. He's got somebody on the far side. Larry Thompson came back to make the catch, but Damon Allen is down.
He went down
and
hard.
When we saw this last year, it was a real tragedy for the BC Lions when Allen missed his 3 games.
It's Michael O'Shea, and it's a clean hit. But Damon Allen went down hard because O'Shea put his helmet right in the shoulder pad, right in the chest area of Allen as he was trying to throw. So he was fully extended and exposed. And O'Shea covers a lot of ground. You see number 50 right there as he rolls back around. And here comes number 50. Allen opens up for him. Bam, and then he goes down hard as well on that left shoulder. Trying to find someone open to the left side, and you can see Jason Claremont got jammed by Antonius Bonner. If he has Larry Thompson early up number 21, he has a chance. Now Thompson just fights off to get a little more room and does come up with the catch. I believe he will be short.
Yeah, he's short of the first down, but the concern right now is for Damon Allen and for the BC Lions without him for any length of time.
That is tough. And that's
he
a clean
has taken
hit.
some shots, and we told you that earlier. Allen is up and off rather gingerly to the far side. So we spin down the depth chart, and you might meet Ortez Jenkins, number 16.
Well, but that's the kind of thing that you would hope as a head coach that would rally the rest of your team, that your veteran at 39 years old of 18 years just took a big hit to try and complete a pass. You hope the teammates will rally around that.
There will be no return on that Martino punt. Angled out of bounds with the Lions down by 5 and their number 1 quarterback sitting stunned on the sidelines. Great concern for the Lions veteran quarterback Damon Allen after a hit by Michael O'Shea.
You know, and the concern when you see how Damon Allen goes down there is, number 1 is his right shoulder, because O'Shea had his shoulder pads up underneath that arm, and number 2 is the left shoulder when he lands on it.
Both shoulders open to injury on that hit.
Yeah, but when they got over there and they checked him out, you see him smiling, and that's a good sign. They didn't look at the shoulders, they just checked him out. They're asking him questions, make sure he's okay up in the head.
So back for an Argonaut first down. Sam Zanders as the Argos begin deep in their zone, and Barron Simpson there again.
Now Allen walked off. He had the trainers come out, obviously, so he has to sit out 3 plays. The good news for the Lions is it can be 3 plays on either offense, defense, or special teams. So he can come back if he's okay. Billy Rochelle to the left is the trainer.
Michael O'Shea, the key to the Argonauts defense, calls all the plays as the hit of the night here.
There's Jenkins warming up just in case Damon Allen can't return.
Loss of 1 second and 11 Argos. Bishop looks down the far side. And it was Mike Morreale as his target again. Morreale has made some catches tonight. Anthony Pryor covering.
Yeah, and Anthony Pryor has not been beat much in this game. This time Morreale tried to just flat out run by him, and Bishop really had only 1 or 2 choices over there, and one was Morreale, and Anthony Pryor was step for step.
Prefontaine's last punt, less than 30 yards.
Lions are going to get decent field position, John. Now the question is it going to be Damon Allen?
Prefontaine across his goal line, and this one is deep. Huge punt by Noel Prefontaine. Flags down on the return by Willie Hurst. Met by O'Shea after a 9-yard return. Farhan.
Well, guys, as you can see, Damon Allen looks like he's going to go back out for this series. Now, there was no shoulder damage on the hit from Michael O'Shea. The trainers were concerned about a possible concussion or maybe even whiplash when Damon's head hit the turf. He shook the cobwebs out. He's been talking to the coaches. At this point, it looks like he's okay and that he will continue.
Well, and if he's going to continue, and he's going to continue, he's got to get things going for this offense that has struggled since in the last 10 possessions. They really have nothing to show for their last 10 possessions, and as you can see, all those punts and 3 missed field goals from Matt Kellett. So now with Damon Allen, they have to, you know, try and protect him to make sure he doesn't take another hit as he tries to shake this off. You know, and that puts more pressure on that offensive line for Damon Allen.
Noel Prefontaine with a 55-yard punt has the BC Lions backed up inside the 40 when better field position looked like it was going to be there. Game 2 of Week 3 in Canadian Football 2002 comes to you live from Montreal with the Rough Riders in town. Battle of unbeaten teams there. 7 o'clock, Wendy's CFL Live on Thursday.
2 pretty good stories there at Montreal and Saskatchewan.
Nice tackle on Sean Millington. That was Montford again.
And Joe Montford hasn't recorded that sack, his first one of the season yet. But he has been all over the place and in fact saved a touchdown when he ran down Willie Hurst.
And there's a tackle for a loss on that play.
And he may not get the 19 sacks he had last year, and he may not add too much to that total of 96 sacks, but he's in a different system and has to do different things. Gary Echeverry, similar to what David Benefield had to do a year ago with the Lions.
Larry Thompson digs it out. On a low toss, Antonius Bonner over to make the tackle. Thompson in his first game back with the BC Lions, and he's had an interesting evening. Has a touchdown tonight.
Well, he does, and he's done a nice job away from the ball of getting open. Here he is right here as the outside receiver. And Larry Thompson in this play is he's just the hitch guy. Get the inside. Claremont runs off Antonius Bonner to allow Thompson to catch the ball. And then it's up to him to just pick up the yardage. But I've watched him away from the play oftentimes tonight, and he has been open.
Fourth reception for Thompson. Closing in on 100.
Oh, baby.
Jason Crum.
Now, Larry Thompson has been a favorite target of Damon Allen's, but he spread it out pretty nicely. Brett Anderson's caught a couple of passes. Ryan Thelwell early in the game had a few. Larry Thompson had the big yardage, and one of those passes, one of his 4 catches from G. Simon on a double throw.
The quarterback has not tossed a touchdown tonight. Matter of fact, Damon Allen hasn't recorded a touchdown all season.
But he's going to enjoy playing with Larry Thompson, whose best year was probably 92 in Winnipeg. He had over 1,000 yards that year.
Argos beginning at the 22 with a first down. Sean Daniels. Carl Kidd was there with a tackle.
Michael Bishop has really, since that interception to Carl Kidd, has got his game together. He hasn't done a whole lot. A couple of spectacular throws, one to Mike Morreale after the fact. And since then, he's been efficient.
He has, closing in on 100 yards, on 200 yards, I should say, at 199.
You know, and really, Reggie Slack over there working with him is probably reminding him every time off the field, look, you don't have to go and win it on every play.
Argos look at 2nd and 5. Bishop won't get it away. He's wrapped up. Legault was there. Cameron Legault.
Another big play. Cameron Legault. Brett Johnson also involved on the play. And it's going to be, this is what you call Brett Johnson and Cameron Legault saying, let's have a team meeting, and let's have a team meeting and just collapse things right down on the pocket. And here they come to collapse. Here comes, there's Brett Johnson, and there's team meeting. Yep. Cameron Legault, I'm not sure about the dance, but we can talk to him about that afterwards.
We will definitely have a meeting with Cameron after.
What a year Cameron Legault had last season. 7 sacks for him, personal best.
Now the huge punt for Prefontaine coming down at the 40. G. Simon. Super tackle by Mike O'Shea limits the gain to 3 yards. Checking out the replays of BC plays. First down toss by Damon Allen is batted down. The intended receiver was Ryan Thelwell.
Yeah, and it was Roger Dunbuck working on Corey Mantica from that side of the field. It's right over here. And I'm not so sure if this just didn't hit the back. No, it was Roger Dunbuck that got that left hand up there. Because really, Corey Mantica had done his job and pushed Dunbuck back far enough. Maybe too far.
2nd and long, 3 receivers. Far side of the field for Damon Allen. Shaken up earlier. He'll run for the first down. Takes an extra 6 yards after that, maybe 8. Orlando Steinauer.
I'll just show you a big block from Sean Millington to not only preserve maybe another play in his career, but also to save his quarterback. Sean Millington on Johnny Scott. Cut block. Cut the big man down. When he goes down, it opens it up for Damon Allen. And if he decides to take on big 72 right here coming off the edge, whoa, that's a load. Wise decision for Millington and a nice block. Very effective on the cut block.
Second run for Damon Allen on the evening. 19 yards the gain. And it's Millington's turn now. O'Shea again.
Sean Millington, John, on that play, he just gave it away. He gave it away to the defense because he was a little ahead of the snap count. And this is how subtle it can be. Defensively, you're locked in. Every little hint can help you. Just prior to the snap, Millington, who's back here in the backfield, watch how he'll hesitate and lean. When he leans right there, he leans a little bit to the side he's running at, and that closes the hole for Johnny Scott. He knows where he's coming from.
Scott and Mike O'Shea creates a loss of about a yard. 2nd and 11. Allen just got it away. Target is wide open. Geroy Simon makes the catch.
Damon Allen had one chance to get that ball out of there because Martavius Houston, who is right down here, he is coming. And he's coming unblocked. That's the C gap. That's what they call in the offensive line. It's broken up into gaps. A gap between the center and the guard. B gap between the guard and the tackle. And C gap.
And that was C gap.
That was the C gap. And Damon Allen, good thing he had one eye on that gap.
It's kind of like C gap and run to quarterback, right?
That's okay.
The other kind of C.
I'm with you.
Hang on, we only got 4:33 to go here, partner. Stay with me.
I'm with you, buddy. Yeah, he saw him coming through that C gap and he looked over there in time. And you see, he had one eye on the C gap and one eye on the G man, which was Geroy Simon. We'll see how far we can take this whole thing.
I don't think much farther.
Okay, that's about it.
Willie Hurst, a spectacular debut as a starter for the BC Lions coming out of the backfield, and Clifford Ivory got over to stop number 33 that time. It's a 5-point ball game, and the Lions are hanging in against the Argonauts.
The key to this play is to get the ball back there with depth, so Willie Hurst has lots of time to read his block. See Corey Mantika come pulling around there, gets the block there. Geroy Simon seals up at the top, Mantika at the bottom, and here comes Hurst for good yardage on first down. In fact, almost first down yardage.
Chris Neal helping out on the tackle there, playing his first game of the season. Millington again turns the corner and will have the first down. Martavius Houston making the stop, and this is a pretty nice 1-2 punch, isn't it?
Well, they're gonna go back against a very good front seven. Watch the game film here, and they're gonna say, boy, we did a lot of good things, and some of the good things were in the running game from a retooled offensive line with the BC Lions. Angus Reid starting at center for Jamie Terrace. Ben Fairbrother, Wes White out of the lineup, and that's 3 starters, and you've got 2 running backs that are approaching the 200-yard mark combined.
Number 65, John Antonetto, has had an interesting night as well. He's played pretty well in his second start. Nice move by Damon Allen to set this up, but not much running room for Larry Thompson after he got the ball. Looks like face masking down there as this flag comes down.
It will be. Martavius Houston will get called on the face masking, but that O-line has done a nice job, and that's not easy. O-line is a lot like, and Chris Schultz will tell you this.
Face mask, Toronto 25.
The O-line is a lot like the secondary in communication end of things. And they really have to understand each other and who's playing beside you, and to make sure that they know where you're going to be in order for it all to gel and all to work properly. And this is guys that are playing beside different guys now from week 1 and 2, including Angus Reid in just his second year playing center.
So the Lions are set up with good opportunity here. Hurst cuts it back. Willie Hurst. He has run all over the field tonight and showed an awful lot. A scat back.
I believe it was Michael Fletcher that forced the cut. The safety got right up in the line of scrimmage, and Michael Fletcher does that much more. Look for Damon Allen to go down behind him. Now, 20-yard end zone, you can almost throw a deep ball on the 5-yard line.
6-yard gain. This is 2nd and 4 at the Argonauts 6, so the Lions can get a first down without scoring a touchdown. Allen under the cover. There's 6. Sean Millington. Impressive drive. We're in for a great finish here tonight.
It was an impressive drive, and I think the difference, it was a drive that looked similar to some of the other ones so far tonight. The difference being no orange flags on the field during the drive.
How about the first drive for the Lions tonight? A 60-yarder that ends in a fumble. This could have been a different ball game without those errors. Right now, the Lions have the lead. But the Argos have lots of time to come back. This is pretty to watch. Allen to Millington.
Touchdown, BC.
Sean Millington has the BC Lions on top of the Argonauts by 2 points. 2:38 to play here in the fourth.
And the pressure now goes from Sean Millington's big shoulders now over to the defense for the Lions and on Michael Bishop for the Argos.
Marcellus Turner has some speed.
Well, this helps.
This is a beauty. Right to midfield. Tyrone Bell over to make the tackle.
Good blocks up front from Corey Mantica and Dan Payne on the Millington touchdown. Here's Mantica, and there is Payne right beside him. Watch the cut blocks on Johnny Scott and Joe Mumford, respectively. They slow him down. If Mumford gets upfield, he cuts off Sean Millington's path to the outside. He's not allowed to do that because of the cut block, and 9 plays later, the BC Lions are in the end zone.
Well, and they ran it very well. Millington making a 6-yard catch for the touchdown. Face mask call did help the Lion drive continue. And the Argos respond. Here's the rookie, Michael Bishop. There's the rookie of the year last year, Baron Simpson after him. What a catch. What an incredible catch by Chad Plummer, and somehow Bishop got it away.
Baron Simpson is just in the spy technique, basically tracking Michael Bishop wherever he goes, and he was winning that foot race until Bishop just got it out there, and he really threw a desperation throw. There's big Baron Simpson. He's trying to track him down, and he's catching him. This is a desperation throw from Bishop, and he gets a big play out of his receiver.
Chad Plummer made the catch.
Now,
Sean Daniels for a yard maybe.
Now, John, this is field goal range already for Noel Prefontaine and the Argos. The question is, did they do it too quickly? Because they will give the ball back to Damon Allen if, in fact, they're stopped on this next play, 2nd and long. Kick a field goal to go up by 1. Allen has lots of time coming back.
Yeah, you have to kick the field goal if you don't get the first down here for the Argos. 1:51 on the clock here at the stadium. 2nd and 9, Toronto.
Here they come.
And not this time, so it's field goal time.
Well,
Baron Simpson was there.
That's
to greet Sean Daniels.
It's a big play by Baron Simpson, and they loaded up front, which surprising here on the call possibly. Everybody on the line of scrimmage for the Lions, including the defensive backs, they felt it was going to be run, and they got run. But on 2nd and long, a bit of a conservative call from Gary Etcheverry to not throw the ball for the first down and play for the field goal to go up by 1 if Prefontaine can hit it.
G-Roy Simon in the Lions end zone. Noel Prefontaine goes for the Argo field goal and gets it. So the lead changes hands one more time. Argonauts by 1. 23-22.
Well, rather than force the ball down from a very young quarterback, Gary Etcheverry puts the pressure on his kicker, Noel Prefontaine, doing both jobs this year, and he comes through.
Coming into the game, Prefontaine at 33%. He's had a better night tonight. Now, how about this? With 1:26 on the clock, a field goal can win it for the BC Lions. So plenty of time for Damon Allen to get in field goal range and maybe get a touchdown. But you've got your kicker, and he's a little cold, Matt Kellen.
Well, more than a little cold. He's had his problems, 0 for 3.
Sort of like Steve Austin. Stone cold. First down there.
Well, you know, here in this game is what's really evolved, and it started out with a nice play from Larry Thompson for BC. Carl Kidd had an interception. They really controlled that first half. And then Bishop hung in there, played very efficiently, and has kept them around. Now they got the lead.
Allen looking deep. Simon left for it. and couldn't get it. G. Simon was the target after Thelwell had made a reception for a first down on the previous play.
And when your kicker is struggling, it puts more pressure on your offense because Damon Allen goes deep there. And a lot of people on first down will say, you know, why is it that he's going deep? He's got lots of time. He can work the clock and work it down the field in a field goal range. Allen's thinking touchdown because his kicker's struggling. And how much does that play in the mind?
Or as close as he can possibly get to make it a little bit of a chip shot. So here we are with the Lions on 2nd and 10. Allen, 4 receivers near side. Some heat on him. Flags are down. Allen looks deep. Thompson goes up for it. Can't bring it down. And I think this is coming back anyway. Antonius Bonner was covering. And where the flags have fallen, it looks like it could be holding against BC.
This will be interesting to see if Gary Echeverry, if it is holding, puts him in 3rd and 10 or 2nd.
Holding. BC 68. Penalties decline. 3rd down.
Well, there's your answer. It's going to be 3rd and 10, and Lions obviously have to go for it.
1:03 on the clock.
Electing to go twice deep down the field. Damon Allen, the deep ball, and now he's in 3rd in desperation time. Last play.
Yeah. We can second guess the play selection there when you think back to how well the running game has worked for the BC Lions. Match is on the line here. The Lions looking at 3rd and 10.
He's got to hurry. 3 seconds.
Allen under the cover. He may or may not have the first down. It depends.
Oh boy, it's going to be close.
G. Simon gets the ball spotted. He was hit and driven back a little bit.
They're going to have to bring him in. Now, was he driven
he's got
back?
It. There's the spot. He was driven back.
Was he driven back, or did he come back and then was tackled? And that's what Gary Echeverry wants to know.
All kinds of drama here. I'm saying first down.
Close.
I'm saying first down.
And it's a football.
First down. By the length of a Wilson, first down. BC in this drive will continue. Allen.
Pockets collapsing around Damon Allen. Now, G. Simon, he did get hit and pushed back. You're absolutely right.
First down. Simon again. He wasn't very busy in the first half. He's inside the 35.
Now, you saw how Toronto got conservative. They were in field goal range. With Matt Kellett's struggles, Damon Allen has to be more aggressive. I think this may be out of his range right now.
I think it is. 45 seconds on the clock. Time to pick up more yards. This is Larry Thompson. Needs a block. And only gets about 3 yards.
Right now, it's about a 40-yard field goal attempt from Matt Kellett.
Remember, though, it is for the win in a 1-point ball game.
And the pressure on the kicker right now is hard to describe.
Argonauts 23, Lions 22.
You've struggled. You can barely breathe on the sideline. There's so much pressure on you right now.
Second down.
This helps.
Here's the rookie, Willie Hurst. He's exciting. Well over 100 yards.
2 things here now, John. I mean, this should be close enough for Matt Kellett.
Single ties it, don't forget that.
That's right. But now they want to get the ball to the middle of the field, but do it so they give Matt Kellett enough time that if they botch the snap, they still could kick it again on the next down.
Oh, fall on the ball is what you're saying,
That's right. Botch the snap, fall on the ball, and then have another crack at it.
That only prolongs the agony if you're the kicker and the holder, though, doesn't it?
The Lions use their timeout here.
Think it over.
That's a nice night from Willie Hurst.
Nice. That's marvelous. 151 yards.
Nice looking average. Damon Allen using him well, and there's the veteran in Damon Allen. Took a big hit, and now everybody becomes the kicker coach on the sideline. You saw Eric Carter in plain clothes. He's over there talking to Matt Kellett, and you see Matt Kellett just going down, stand by himself. He's 0 for 3 tonight.
Longest on the season is 41 for Matt Kellett.
He missed a 29er, and this is going to be 27 unless they get a little bit closer.
11 seconds.
They're going to get to the middle. and then kneel down, but Damon lost 2 yards. So now this is going to be, just to make it a little tougher, a 32-yard field goal attempt for Matt Kellett.
Missed from 37, 29, and 44.
Now, in most situations, you say to the kicker, just kick it, because you're well within your range. We kick the field goal, and we get it through. You wonder, though, with the way Kellett's been kicking, he doesn't say pound it, so that if you miss the thing, you kick it through the end zone.
Well, and too deep in the end zone, including Noel Prefontaine back there. So the Argos will try and ice the kicker, and that may not be too hard to do.
Well, he's in ice cube right now because he's been that way all game long. So this is just to add just a little bit more pressure on him. And Matt Kellett right now probably feels like he weighs about 400 pounds. He goes into the books at 200, but there's enough pressure on those shoulders right now.
But don't forget, Kellett came into the game 5 for 5. It's been an 0 for 3 nights.
Here we go.
It happens to kickers sometime. This for the win. Wide or through the end zone. A chance for a tie. Kellett is up. Wide. Prefontaine has it in the back of the end zone. Kicks it out. Kellett chasing it. And there's no opportunity here. The Argos take it all the way the other way on the kick out by Noel Prefontaine. And that's Mike O'Shea crossing the goal line. Argos win, folks, in spectacular fashion. Noel Prefontaine set it up. Matt Kellett missed 4 field goals.
Oh, baby.
One more time for more agony. This one is long enough, wide, but Prefontaine at the back of the end zone, Glenn, made a terrific play to catch the ball.
Well, he did. Let's see the hold, because there has been some problems here. The hold looks good. Straight up and down. The hold is there. The kick just a bit wide, and you're right. Noel Prefontaine saves the day and saves the tie, because at the back of the end zone, he made a shoestring catch back there, trying to stay in bounds, turn around and punted it out. And now Kellett has to pick it up, and Jason Claremont tries to pick it up to kick it back in.
Now there's O'Shea.
And they go the other way.
And look who is providing the entourage, or at least the escort for O'Shea. It's a touchdown for the Argos there. Prefontaine celebrating in the end zone. And what a way to lose a ball game. I mean, the Lions made enough mistakes tonight.
But these are short kicks. I mean, and Matt Kellett said that one time the ball was spinning. It shouldn't matter if the ball is spinning. Those are kicks that are makeable, kicks you have to make at this level. He had the game in his hands, and he dropped it.
Final score will read: for the Argonauts 30, for the BC Lions 22. It's win number 1 for Toronto. Loss number 3 for the BC Lions. Little trouble on the West Coast, without question.
In one position, for sure.
And on the last play of the game, Kellett missed his 4th of the night. The Argos go all the way to the end zone, pick up the touchdown, and there's your final.
Wendy's CFL Live on TSN is brought to you by Wendy's. Wendy's Classic Double with Cheese is made fresh right when you order it. It's better here. By Molson Canadian. I am Canadian. And by Moore's Clothing for Men. Well made, well priced, well dressed.
Ready for the TSN turning point. It comes late in this one. Final play.
To wait to the final play of the game. Matt Kellett with it on the line is wide left.
Prefontaine hammers it out.
His 4th miss of the game. He had a chance to win it. And Kellett is wide.
Prefontaine kicks it out. Heads upfield. Helps out with the pursuit. Actually creates a fumble there to set up Mike O'Shea. So how about Noel Prefontaine? What a play. O'Shea gets the touchdown, but Prefontaine did all the work. Cash donation will be made to the Coaching Association of Canada for the training and development of Canadian coaches in amateur sport on behalf of TSN.
You know, for about 24, 25 years in Vancouver, they didn't have to worry about that at all with Louis Pasaglia there, but they have not been able to replace Louis. How do you replace Louis? 0 for 4, Matt Kellick tonight. We got to go. On behalf of Schultze, Matty, Jock Climby, our entire crew, for those of you who stayed up late in Toronto, I guess it was worth the wait as the Argos get their first win. We'll be back at you on Thursday. We had 2 0-2 teams tonight, 2 2-0 teams on Thursday, the Riders and the Alouettes. That's when we are back Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern, the next edition of the TSN Sports Center coming your way at the top of the hour with Gino Retta and Jennifer Hedger. All the news and highlights of the day. The Argos, with their rookie quarterback Michael Bishop, get the job done 30-22. We're about to join Acura World of Golf in progress. Talk to you Thursday, football fans. Thanks for watching. You are watching TSN, Canada's sports leader.